Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hang on one second. I got to clear my throat. Okay, sorry. Anyway. What up? What up? How's everybody doing? How's the day? How's the morning? Nice little Thursday. What did I miss last night? Gonna watch the replay, but a TLDR. We watched Thunderbolts and had a couple of beers. You know, had a few beers, and then chat convinced me to order jalapeno poppers and a meatball sub way too late. So now I'm dealing with heartburn today. So that's basically what happened. That's all you missed. And we did enjoy the movie though. Thunderbolts is dope. You know, some people don't want to believe it or whatever. You know, some people have this opinion that it's not really good. And, you know, I know everything's subjective, blah, 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 but they're all wrong. They're all wrong. I'm right. Did you even ask Elisa if she wanted anything when you ordered? No. No, I didn't, Trev. Jeez. Fucking marriage police over here. Holy shit. He's probably gonna like message her or something, you know. Thunderbolts is better than Superman. I mean, obviously. Obviously. Superman's cool though, you know. No reason to pick favorites, but you know. You're that guy? I know you are that guy. Actually, it's funny. We were watching Thunderbolts last night, Trev, and there's this part. I don't know if you remember this, but there's this part where John Walker just won't stop, and he's just being John Walker. And they were talking about a show. I think it was like Judge Judy or something. And I swear to God, he's like, I mean, it was a good show when it was on, but it's actually not on anymore. So it's not the best show on TV. Like being fucking pedantic as shit. And I was just like, oh my God, it's Trev. Like it's Trev, and not just Trev, it's chat. A lot of you have that attribute, you know what I mean? And I was just like, oh my God, they got it in this thing too. Yeah. That Sentry fight was epic. I really enjoyed, was it Dr. Phil? I really enjoyed that scene, man. It was cool. You know what I like about the action in Thunderbolts, watching it again last night, was like, and I'm just going to go out on a limb here. Nobody's confirmed this or anything, but I would venture to say the Russo brothers were involved a little bit and helped out with that, with the action. If it's not directly the Russo brothers, it has to be somebody that was connected to the old team that they were using when they were doing all the action. Because whether it's the scene in the vault or that Sentry scene or even some of the scenes later on, the action does this really cool thing where it kind of builds it like... It's almost like it will crescendo and then it'll go low for a little bit and then it builds back up. And like, it's just really well paced where like you kind of are on a little roller coaster ride. Even the scene with Sentry and all that, you know, it has its like ebbs and flows and then Bucky takes the jacket off and then, you know what I mean? Like it's cool. I like that movie a lot. Do you feel like they held back with Sentry action? I mean, that one scene goes pretty hard. You know, that one scene goes pretty hard. And obviously, by the way, guys, there's a lot of Zack Snyder influence in that scene. It's very Man of Steel with like the jumping around and how Zack was able to basically depict creatures or beings that are faster than we can like perceive and what that would look like in a fight. And so like you can see some of that energy being pulled in to that. But yeah, I mean, maybe they held back a little bit. It's hard to say. I hope they have more plans for him. I mean, Sentry's one of the, you know, we give Marvel a lot of shit, okay? And there's a lot of stuff that happens in the MCU and we're like, don't really love that, you know? Sentry was pretty fucking good, man. Like, it's not perfect. It's not exactly like the comic books, but pretty fucking good. And really well performed, well written. The powers seem right. Void was really cool. Pretty cool. I thought it was really good. Do you think we'll actually get Punisher War Machine suit going forward? The rumor is he's getting in a brand new day to fight Hulk. I mean, I don't know that that's a rumor. I haven't heard that from anybody reliable. A lot of people just think that's what it will be. We're just kind of like theorizing it, theory crafting. Nobody reliable has hinted at it. I think the closest we got to somebody hinting at it was the Scoopers all said he'll be ready for the fight. They gave like this ambiguous, like he's going to get upgrades and shit like that. So we don't know that he's getting the suit. Would it be awesome? Hell yeah. Oh my God. If we get the suit, he gets into a War Machine suit and Brave New World or what a brand new Spider butt. Oh, I'm going to get out of my seat. CR23WX18, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. Why you guys always change your names to like stuff that's hard to pronounce? Is Punisher in Avengers? Good question. I mean, I don't think so, but maybe they give him a little shine. One of my thoughts on Emergency Awesome's 2 latest videos, Judgment Day, Hulk, and Groot. It's 2 videos released that are cooking. I actually haven't watched them. I haven't seen them. Judgment Day and Hulk. I mean, Judgment Day to me, it's been a rumor that we've been talking about for a while. I absolutely think there'll be some Judgment Day stuff happening. And the Celestials and like, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's cool. Maybe it's exciting. Is it exciting to people? Because like that, they are doing that. Like they are going to do a version of Judgment Day. And the next saga is going to have something to do with Celestials, something to do with mutants. And, we kind of know this. I don't know. You think we get any footage of the upcoming project at D23 this weekend? It would be fun. I don't know that we will, though. I think we'll get something. But I've also heard that maybe they're pulling back a little on D23. We'll see. Either way, we'll talk about it on Monday. If anything serious happens, of course, I'll be like, whoa, and we'll go over it all on Monday. Is there even a Marvel panel, though? That's like, some people were telling me, like, there's not even a Marvel panel. Why Punisher can appear in movies, but not Kingpin. Even Daredevil appeared in the latest Spider-Man movie. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is all about. It probably comes down to a rights issue or something like that. Probably comes down to a rights issue. Thoughts on when we will get additional casting confirmation at this point? I don't know that you even will, I know there was a lot of rumors out there about the chairs yesterday and whatnot. Never official, though, and even some people kind of try to debunk it or whatever. But I don't know that you will. I mean, look, guys, the chair announcement thing, like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but that chair shit was not for Endgame. That chair shit was for Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts. And I think you could look at the box office of those 2 movies and just be like, I don't know that chair thing really worked. Frankly. So, Doomsday doesn't need... I mean, Doomsday needs competent marketing, don't get me wrong. But, like... we don't need more chairs, man, We don't need more chairs. What the hell is this? D23 schedule? Well, how about instead of me clicking through that, Trev, and then being reprimanded by you in 2 minutes, why don't you just tell me the fucking thing right now? Do we got a Marvel thing going on or not? Who else is confirmed outside of chairs? Oh, I don't know. I mean, guys, there's a lot of people in this movie. You just did? Where? Oh, 9 a.m. Saturday, Disney Studios presentation. See, that's what, Chris, you're the best, man. Yeah, Chris is the best. And I believe you're American too, right, Chris? Not that that matters, but it totally does. Cool. 9 a.m. Well, you know what I'll be doing at 9 a.m. on Saturday, guys? Any guesses? 9 a.m. on Saturday, I will either be already arrived in Pittsburgh or I'll be right about to arrive in Pittsburgh. And I'm going to be playing Warhammer, baby. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, it's a Warhammer weekend for your boy. Yeah. So it's my buddy's birthday. Actually, my buddy's birthday today. So shout out to my buddy Angelo. And then, yeah, so Saturday, I'm going to head down with both my armies. I'm going to do a little bit of last minute painting today, maybe even tomorrow. Touch up, just get them looking real good for the tabletop. And then I'll be traveling down with both my armies. We're going to go to a really nice game store down there. And we're going to play Warhammer all day, dude. It's going to be awesome. Maybe throw back some beers. It's going to be awesome. So you guys will have to let me know if something happens at D23. Because I'm going to be in the grim darkness for the 42nd millennia. Hell yeah. Josh, to us, you have already arrived. Oh. Wait, what? Hey, tell Gilo happy birthday from his old DM. Hey, Jason, what's up, brother? I will tell him that. You know, we were talking about D&D the other day, he and I. I forget exactly what the context was. It was probably when we were playing Warhammer on TTS, but yeah, we were talking about that. Dude, that campaign we ran in the pandemic was fucking legendary, bro. That was a legendary campaign. It kind of fizzled out, you know, but man, the start was strong. Cool Bear says, officially graduated with a bachelor's degree in business management this morning. Wow. Now I finally have time to watch the morning streams again. Hey, good for you, Cool Bear. Good for you, brother. W. Hello, Josh. New here. How's your day been? Day's been good. I was working on a video this morning. I actually have this really cool video. I don't know. Maybe you guys will like it. Maybe everybody will think it's like a stupid idea. But I came up with a video that's literally like the best possible copium for Doomsday. And I'm thinking about titling it like, this video will change your mind on Doomsday, 100% money back guarantee. And the whole concept of the video is like, it's not cool to be excited for Doomsday anymore. Like, if you poke your head out on the internet and you're like, I'm excited for Doomsday, like, you'll get like shit on or like shoved into an internet locker, so to speak. And I was like, you know, fuck that. And what's the best copium? You know, like, and so the video is like, I go over some copium that people have out there, and I'm like, yeah, but this one's not good because of this, and this one's not good because of this. Here's the best copium. And at the end of the video, I give you like what I consider to be the best copium for it. So yeah, that video actually will probably drop later today, but I was working on that this morning, and yeah, been a good morning so far. Yeah, the internet is willing for Marvel to fail. I just think that the internet fad, you know, sort of, I don't even know how to explain it. People just have the internet brain takes because it gets you clicks on social media, you know? And being a part of some movement on social media in any, I guess, field of interest gives you like some kind of social currency. So it's, you know, I get it, but it is silly. But at the same time, it's like, it's also, to me, it's kind of fun to just like look at that and be like, okay, well, what kind of content do I want to make about this? You know what I mean? Because it's real. And I am still excited for Doomsday. And so I thought this would be kind of a funny way to take what is sort of the state of things and have fun with it while also trying to deliver to the people that are interested a reason to still be excited. And for the people that are like really, really mad, wait till you hear what I got to say. You're going to be so fucking mad about it, you know? So, because that's what it is for some people. They're like, I can't wait to watch Josh's video so that I can shit all over his point. Whatever gets you through the fucking day, brother, you know? Captain Zugut says, good morning, Nerd Avengers. Last night watch party was great vibes. Josh, did the jalapeno poppers give you shitty sleep? Yeah, dude, and heartburn. And heartburn right now. Holy, it was a good time, though. Did Doomsday plans for Wanda change drastically? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. Wanda is certainly one of the pieces that is of great interest to me. You know, people have been telling me for a while that she was involved and there's going to be some romantic thing with her and Doom. Who knows? Maybe that's not in there anymore. I would imagine Wanda's involvement has to do with her just being very powerful and perhaps causing incursions, perhaps having the ability to cause incursions, or yeah, like there's something there. There's something there with Wanda for sure. Well, you know, now that you mention it, the Exodus, right? What we're going to talk about today's stream, which I have this big thing I want to talk about, and then I actually picked out 3 really cool fucking videos that I want to react to and watch with you guys. So that's kind of what's on the schedule. But the main chunk of what we're going to talk about first all has to do with the possibility of a third Avengers movie, which is crazy. Like, because this rumor has persisted for so long, and people have been back and forth on this, and there's been some weird shit too, where some people are like, you know, this shit might be real, like, but it never quite materialized. There's this mystery movie. We're gonna get into it. It's pretty crazy. I think one of the reasons that we all, or the people that do want this to happen, one of the reasons why is because we would just like more of that story fleshed out and more of a chance for it all to make a little bit more sense and get wrapped up. It almost feels like the first part of this has to be what it is. The expansion of it and how we kind of get through the middle chapter into Secret Wars. I mean, there's a lot of story there, you know, so. Yep. 2 Avengers movies in 2027 would feed families. Well, it certainly would feed mine. But yeah. There's no time to film a separate movie that doesn't involve Doomsday or Secret Wars. It kind of feels that way. Yeah, we're going to get into it all. You know, I want to let it linger for a little bit. I want to let other people get in here and just chill for a bit. But we're going to get into it. I mean, this all comes from an article over on the Murphy's Multiverse. I'm going to give you the full context. I'm going to tell you why I believe it could be real. We're going to get into it, man. By the way, I didn't even read the full article. I started to read this last night, and I was like, let's save it. Save it for the stream. Save it for the stream. It's going to be juicy. Final take on Thunderbolts. I don't know what you mean by final take on Thunderbolts, but I like Thunderbolts. I've always liked Thunderbolts. It's a really good movie. Dark Souls 3? What? What? Have you seen the Silver Surfer memes online? There's a ton going around about aura farming, kind of shallow bow move feels stupid, not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean, maybe Marvel figured that out too, you know, because Alex is kind of hinting that you're going to get a reset for Galactus and Silver Surfer. I think Nora and Rad is going to be in the reset after Secret Wars. I think it's going to be Nora and Rad, you know? So, yeah, totally possible, man. I would bet my money that Secret Wars ends up being 2 parts. A lot of people feel that way, yeah. Murphy said he wasn't giving information. He was just speculating. Of course, but what you're failing, well, you're trying to get me to do it early, but there's more to it than that, is what I'll say. There's more to it than that. And also, like, dude, here's the thing about Charles Murphy. He is... When this dude speculates, you should listen. That's all I'll say. Kalen says they have time to shoot another Avengers film at the beginning of 2026 for a July 2027 release. Yeah, for sure. Did you see Daniel Day trailer? Magneto DDL would be insane. Oh, dude, that movie looks incredible. So weird, but so cool. The DDL movie where he's like isolated. He plays this like isolated soldier or whatever. Like, hell yeah. Kaylin, I feel like, to speak to your question just a little bit more, I feel like they have the time. When you delay a film 7 months, bro, that's like a whole nother shoot. And literally, deadass, they have a completed cut of it right now. Most everybody's like done shooting. They're shooting like some small stuff, you know, maybe the Chris Evans stuff, maybe some other stuff. But they have the majority of the film shot already. But again, they're gonna put it together and they're gonna make all kinds of changes, and they're basically gonna shoot the whole movie again. So it's almost like either way you slice it, they're shooting 4 movies for these 2 movies because of the way the Marvel system works. You know, like literally, Luis D'Esposito said during the Infinity Saga, I forget what interview this was, but he said, we can make any movie great if we make it twice. That's their philosophy. You don't have to like it, but like that's their philosophy. So as far as time, hell yeah, they got plenty of time. Do you think Nick Fury is going to be in Doomsday? Yeah, I think Nick Fury will be in Doomsday. I think Nick Fury should be in Doomsday. 100%. Totally. Yeah, just think about 2 Avengers movies in a row with cliffhangers. Yeah. Well, the other thing is like so, you know, maybe it's Blade or something. Like maybe it's just something totally random and they just stick something in there. Wouldn't be the end of the world. But I don't know, man. You know, one way, and the one thing that's kind of weird is like the contracts, right? Because like, what would that do to the contracts per se? That's a thing. And so I actually don't. We'll get into my speculation about it, but I don't think it's an Avengers movie. I think it's an Illuminati movie. I think it's a Doom's Illuminati movie, and I think it's also Doctor Strange 3. But you'll see. We'll talk about it. But from Disney's perspective, right, you're spending all this money on these 2 big movies. You just delayed them both by a lot. Getting one more movie out of that feels right. You know, that feels good. Do you remember the old days? I used to be in here. I was wandering dog. Doesn't allow me to be in much. Happy to be here 2 days in a row. Hope all is well. Thank you, brother. Yes. I do remember you. I have a theory that the reason the incursions start is because Doom bots attack Loki. That's not, it's not bad. It's kind of fun. Like a Civil War 1.5. Exactamundo. Exactamundo. That's what I talk about. That's what I talk about. I think the Russos are shitting bricks daily trying to figure all this shit out, honestly. Maybe. Do you remember me, Josh? Yes. Yes, Ben. Marvel Studios, the Illuminati. Time runs out. Ooh, I like it. Ooh, I like it. I don't think Doom can access Loki at this point. Yeah, probably not, right? Probably not. Josh, you never knighted me? What? Feels like bait. Hey, check this out. Everybody that's a Nerdvenger, guess what? You are a Nerdvenger now. You've been knighted. How about that? How about that? How about that shit? Will we see Thanos' spine getting ripped out? That would be cool. I'd be down. Hey, do you guys want to hear something kind of cool here? So, you guys know when Batman got his spine snapped by Bane? Like, you've all seen that, right? It's in the comics. It's very, very famous, right? Well, in Warhammer, there's a character known as the Night Haunter who's kind of like Batman. He kind of looks like Batman. He's one of the Primarchs, and he's awesome. He literally gets his fucking back broken just like Bane by Lionel Johnson during a conflict between the Dark Angels and the Night Lords. It's so cool. They even bring in comic book stuff into Warhammer. I can't wait. You guys just you're in for it, man. Y'all are gonna be so excited when we get into the Warhammer shit. I'm telling you. I love literally every Marvel movie, so I'm down with literally anything. Illuminati movie sounds good. I mean, that's cool. You know, it doesn't do much in the way of like your opinion holding a lot of water exactly, but that's cool. You're still welcome. Josh, what would Tom have to do to come back into the tower? I mean, he'd probably have to wish upon a star, and he'd have to, I mean, maybe if I go have an incredible weekend and I win all my Warhammer games and I'm just rolling fucking hot, bro, you know? Then maybe I'd be like, you know what? Maybe we could let Tom in again. Something like that, so. I worked at GameStop for 4 years and never heard anything about Warhammer. To this day, I've heard one person speak of Warhammer, and it's Josh. Well, that's crazy, because, like, I'm like the fucking Paul Revere of this shit then, you know? The Redcoats are coming, and by the Redcoats, I mean literally the British, because Warhammer's British. The shit's taken over, man. So consider this your warning. Make a statue to me in a couple years when I've got it right. You're welcome. I'm really praying we get some Mephisto and Doom interactions. Hard to see how they'll fit it all together, though. It is hard. It is hard to see how they would figure it all out. 100%. Nah, that's cap. GameStop sells Warhammer games and cards. I literally bought Theory for his birthday, a McFarlane Toys Terminator Warhammer figure from GameStop. So, yeah, I know he's lying, but... I was getting interested until now. I know, right? So why is it got to be British? You know? When you're playing Marvel Rivals, I don't know, man. I'd like to play. You know, I'd like to play. All right, should we get into this a little bit, ladies and gentlemen? Should we get into it? Should we talk a little bit about this crazy Illuminati movie situation? We're going to get into some crazy speculative territory. We're going to talk about rumors, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then we're going to watch some videos. Okay. So Last time on Dragon Ball Z. So this one's pretty fun, man. And I want to be clear, just like Charles Murphy was clear, we are getting into speculative territory here, okay? And last night I saw a tweet from Charles Murphy, and he had said, I had a conversation with my very best source, and he wanted to, he really tried to like hammer home that it was just a conversation and that he was speculating, okay? But he did use the language, I had a conversation with one of my best sources. And like, bro, if you know the deep lore here, that's kind of an interesting thing to hear from Charles, right? And so he puts out an article, one of these speculative articles that he does where he connects invisible dots, I believe is what he calls them. And one of the things he talks about in the article is this. Illuminati, and I shared this yesterday. Just kind of, just I got excited. You know what I mean? I got excited about the possibilities of this article, and so what I want to do now is I want to go through this article with you guys, and then we will speculate and try to figure this out as well, because this is something that the fandom has been curious about. This is a possibility that's been discussed by many different people in many different ways. It is essentially all about this mystery Marvel movie that still has a release date next summer in the summer of 2027. Next summer is Spider-Man, and then the following summer there is still a release date that Marvel has, and a lot of rumors about a Marvel movie that will be made, and we'll take that July 2027 spot. So check this out. Connecting imaginary dots. A second Avengers film will hit theaters in 2027. Bro, what? I mean, come on, chat. Like, just right from the rip, right? Like, what a crazy fucking title for an article. Okay, let's keep going, though. Though not many were convinced they could pull it off, Marvel Studios once planned to roll out a pair of Avengers films in 6 months. During the studio's Hall H panel at SDCC 2022, Kevin Feige revealed that 2025 would feature the studio's first Avengers film since 2019. The Avengers Kang Dynasty arriving in May, and Avengers Secret Wars in November. It was an ambitious plan, but one that would certainly have ended up with Marvel all but printing its own money. The Phase 6 double dip wasn't in the cards for the studio. A pair of strikes, some box office duds, and a pivot to a new villain later, May 2025 has come and gone without an Avengers movie, and it will now be December 2026 before Avengers Doomsday hits theaters. As a part of Disney's new strategy, Doomsday will be the only Disney-owned Marvel film in theaters in 2026, and 2027 isn't looking much better, with an untitled film on the books for July and Avengers Secret Wars in theaters in December. For a studio struggling with to hit big at the box office, less needs to be more, which means that July 2027 film needs to hit big. Now, before we go any further, I do want to mention that Jeff Snyder, I want to say it was a couple of weeks ago, maybe as much as a month ago, Jeff Snyder was saying some stuff about how there's no way Bob Iger is going to be happy if there's only one Marvel movie the next 2 years. Do you guys remember this? I know a lot of you guys watch the Hot Mic podcast or subscribe to Jeff's newsletter or whatever. Do you guys remember this? He made this point a couple of different times, and there was never we never got to the bottom of like what he was trying to imply. But at the time, I remember thinking, oh, so they really are going to put something else into production, which seemed kind of unlikely. But if you are Bob Iger, from his perspective, you could totally get it. Like, they only get 25% of Spider-Man. So whenever Spider-Man pops off, which is probably gonna pop the fuck off, but they only get 25% of that. So it's good for the Marvel brand that Spider-Man is going to probably be very good and very successful, but not necessarily great for Disney itself, okay? While Marvel Studios' Multiverse Saga slate has been through plenty of shuffling and canceling, a recent trade report indicated that the studio intended to hold on to July 2027. I remember when that report came out as well. If that is indeed the case, the studio really only has two apparent options. So this is the first one. Maybe the Occam's Razor one, maybe the one that's like, maybe it'll end up being this, but I think there's a reason to believe this won't be it. Let's keep reading. A small budget, non-multiversal flick. If Marvel Studios is intent on putting a film into theaters in July 2027, they sure haven't given any indications that it would be a property of which the public is not already aware. As of now, the hiring of new writers and directors has not been made public, and no new production companies that are already believed to be accounted for have been made. That would mean that the film would be something that's been in development for a few years, and that, of course, bring to mind Blade. Through a series of unfortunate events has befallen the film, most recently resulted in being removed from the studio's 2025 slate. A recent update from Kevin Feige made it sound as though Blade was headed in a positive direction and would eventually make its way to theaters. With a script that's been in the works for years in at least a partial cast, Blade is precisely the type of project that the studio could pull together in a short amount of time, assuming they find a director willing to give it a run. It's also the type of film that could produce on a relatively low budget, that's true, allowing them to get a dud at the box office while spinning yarn that won't detract from, but could add to, the overarching multiversal saga. Similar to Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, which were both released between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, while also telling a standalone story. Here's the other option, though. An all-new, all-different Avengers film. What the fuck? Then there's another option. Marvel Studios making good on its insane plan to roll out 2 Avengers films in a calendar year. After rolling out an Avengers film every 3 years before dropping Infinity War and Endgame 1 year apart, the studio has used the first 5 years of the multiversal saga to spin a whole lot of desperate tales and to introduce a whole lot of new characters, only to never follow up on very many of them. That's left a bad taste in the collective mouths of the fandom, as heroes such as Shang-Chi, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk have been, to date, one and dones. And now the Multiverse Saga finds itself accelerating to its end. It becomes increasingly difficult to imagine incorporating all of this cast alongside stars that they've announced for the cast of Doomsday. However, releasing a third Avengers film in July 2027 between Doomsday and Secret Wars might provide the narrative runway to make it possible. Verily, Disney's new approach has shorted Marvel, but a secret third Avengers film would ensure that the studio would own the box office for 12 months. Whether it's Avengers Time Runs Out, Avengers Battleworld, Avengers Everything Dies, or Avengers Illuminati. An Illuminati project was 100% in development from the studio at one point. We're going to talk more about Illuminati in a second here. A bridge spanning Doomsday and Secret Wars would be a fascinating and cash-rich opportunity for Marvel. Logistically, it's a legit possibility that works has been done on these films, even under different names for a couple. Wait a minute, hang on. We got to reread this. Logistically, it's a legitimate possibility that work has been being done on these films, even under different names, for at least 3 years. Ideas can be cut and pasted and altered under the purview of the new creative team. Typically, principal photography on Marvel Studios films lasts 3 to 4 months. Doomsday is already in its 5th month. Secret Wars was originally set to film back to back before a year's with If Space was added. But who is to say that between now and September 2026, cameras aren't continuing rolling, given that there's no shortage of exciting potential storytelling opportunities, including characters old, Steve Rogers, and new. The potential for a third Avengers film in the Multiverse Saga cannot be dismissed out of hand. The studio put a significant amount of time and resources into multiple projects that no longer have a place in the saga. However, that leaves them with a chunk of material from which to draw the skeleton of a third film, which fits nicely into the continuity of the saga. And of course, they could just bail on the date. Okay, now, quite an interesting article from Charles Murphy. Would love to know what you guys think about this. I think there's some smoke here. I think there's some smoke beyond what he is even saying. And as somebody that's like just been following this, right? That's been following this for a long, long time. I can't just forget about all the different times that it seemed like a third Avengers movie was going to happen. You know, there's that really famous leak, which a lot of this stuff got confirmed, man. There was this massive fucking leak that really got the Marvel Studios spoilers subreddit in a lot of trouble, because what happened was they had leaked out a couple of weeks prior to that. They had leaked out some actual Marvel and Disney property, which was the transcripts of the movie, which was being translated to a different language. This is where we first heard about like eternity being mentioned in Quantum Mania. Well, a couple of weeks after that, that group, the Marvel Studios spoiler subreddit, they put out this huge fucking post. Within this post, you had things like the Eyes of Wakanda show was leaked. Nobody had talked about it until then. There was the Nomad project, which was leaked, which Bo DeMeo just confirmed was in actual development and was bailed on. So we know that a lot of the stuff that was in that leak was fucking real. In fact, I believe that leak was what really made Marvel go after that subreddit. They tried to subpoena Reddit to get the IP address of the people that had leaked that shit. Okay? But they didn't do it right away after the thing with the Ant-Man thing. So it's almost like it's like a shoplifter, right? Sometimes you'll, as a store or whatever, you catch a shoplifter, you let them keep stealing until they rack up enough money to warrant some serious charges, right? So it's almost like that was what Marvel Studios was doing. The point is, within that huge, massive fucking leak were ideas of making a third Avengers movie. There were ideas of doing a Battleworld Universe Saga, which I have heard from incredibly reliable people was absolutely a real thing. Spider-Man Brand New Day was going to be a Battleworld movie, 100%. It is no longer a Battleworld movie, right? So again, I can't just dismiss all of this stuff out of hand, okay? Do you know what I think it is? I think this is Doctor Strange 3, and I think it will be called Doctor Strange 3 Illuminati, okay? And couple of different reasons why, okay? So the one reason why, and it's like, dude, like I just can't get this shit out of my head. You know, sometimes I get like hyper fixated on stuff. Do you guys remember what Anthony Mackie said about RDJ Doctor Doom when it was first announced at San Diego Comic-Con? Does anybody remember what he said? Anybody? Bueller? Yeah, he said Doom's Illuminati. Okay, so it was the first time anybody had ever said it. Okay, and he was like asking about it and stuff, and he said Doom's Illuminati. It was like so random, you know? And we were like, what the fuck? Doom's Illuminati. Like, what's he talking about there? Okay. On top of that, there's just like a lot of good reporting talking about how Sam Raimi is actually going to be involved in Doctor Strange 3. And in fact, there was a news cycle February of this year where that popped off. I believe it was Jeff Snyder. He reported that, and some other people were like, yes, this is real. And it really did seem, and this was before, I think this was before we knew. I just remember this cycle coming out, and we were like, yo, Doctor Strange 3 feels like it's going to be real, okay? The other thing that has me, like, that I can't get out of my head is the whole thing where Benedict Cumberbatch said he wasn't going to be in the Kang Dynasty. Bro, why did he say that shit? In my mind, there's no way they were just going to remove his story. His story is too important to what's going on. And Multiverse of Madness, it was clearly a very important movie to what they were trying to do with the story. Waldron doesn't just get pulled off Loki for no reason. Like, Feige was like, hey, man, you're kind of like the head architect of this shit now. The next part of this story is Multiverse of Madness. I need your help. That's why Waldron gets pulled into that, right? So, I mean, that's the first time you hear of incursions. Basically, it confirms Secret Wars for me, Multiverse of Madness, the mentioning of incursions, right? So it was so obvious that was very, very important. To me, there's no way you do the story of the multiverse, this whole thing, without Stephen Strange. And I think they knew that even when they were building the Infinity Saga, by the way. And so the point is, when Benedict Cumberbatch said he's not in that one, referring to Doomsday, it shocked me because I was like, but your story's essential. Well, how could he not be in that one? How could he have gotten confused about being in that one or not? Because remember, about a week later, he was like, I got confused. I am in that one. Brother, how'd you get confused? I think I know how you got confused. You got confused because Kevin said all that stuff we were going to do in Kang Dynasty, we're pulling it out and we're going to put it in Doc Strange 3. And so in his mind, Benedict thinks, I'm not even in Kang Dynasty anymore because all that story got removed. Here's the thing. You are in Kang Dynasty. You're in Kang Dynasty at the end of Kang Dynasty as a tease to set up this other movie that's going to explain Doom's Illuminati and what the fuck you have been doing. Okay? So, look, man, do I know for sure? Hell no. We're speculating. This is all speculation. It's all up in the air. It's all rumors. But I think there's like enough smoke here. I think that if you read the tea leaves closely enough, it was always going to lean heavily on Doctor Strange. And I do believe that it would be smart to have that movie and do a lot of heavy lifting in that story and expand stuff. I think that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to plant my flag in the ground. I think it's Doc Strange 3, Illuminati. And I think it's really going to be the story of Time Runs Out. Even if they don't call it Time Runs Out, it is essentially Time Runs Out with the Black Priest, Clea, Rabam Al, Doctor Doom, maybe the actual universe here. Like, bro, they're cooking some shit. Like that I think is what it is going to be. And I think, look, I think Charles was told some shit. Okay. I don't think he knows for sure. You know, I'm not saying that he's lying. But I think Charles was told some shit. I don't think he would make this article unless he had heard some shit. Okay? So, there it is. What do you think? Could be Thor. Similar idea, man. It could be a Thor movie, and then you call it Thor Illuminati or Thor Time Runs Out. It could absolutely be that, yeah. Jeff said in October of 2024, Sam was in talks to do Doctor Strange 3, Multiverse of Madness making 900, giving Marvel confidence in him. That movie could still be happening. Yes. Damn, that was in 2024? Whoa. Yeah. Fake news? Maybe. We'll see. It's like the Marvel hero leadership making decisions. Wait, what? I don't know what that means. If Doc Strange 3 happens, does that mean he won't be in Doomsday? No, he will be in Doomsday, but he's like a tease in Doomsday. That's what I would do. I would just have him tease. I would have him show up, be evil as fuck, working for Doctor Doom at the end of the movie. And everybody's like, bro, what the fuck happened to you, Steven? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. And then it's, Doc Strange 3 Illuminati. The comic Illuminati I was talking about? Oh, all right. All right. A Strange movie makes the most sense because it could melt the minds since it's the only movie that addressed the credit scene given post-Endgame. Yeah, I think that Multiverse of Madness is actually the perfect setup for Doctor Strange 3 to be very satisfying and pull a lot of this stuff together. Yeah. An Illuminati movie directed by Sam Raimi would be epic. I agree. I love Multiverse of Madness, dude. Like I've come down a little bit from calling it a masterpiece. It does have some blemishes and it just has some rough edges, but I really like Multiverse of Madness, dude. And you guys know me, I'm the type of person that's like, oh, everybody doesn't like this thing, but I like it. Well, fuck everybody. I just care about me. So to me, hell yeah. Multiverse of Madness 2. Electric Boogaloo. Says in the video, I'm doing Ventures next summer. That would have been this summer. Huh? Who said that? What? I really like it, especially on shrooms. Damn, okay. Yeah, same here. Twitter will never make me hate MOM or No Way Home. Hell yeah. A Thor and Doc Strange movie would be cool duo. It would be a very fun duo, actually, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Clea recruiting Strange for Doom. Yep, that's what I think it is. That's what I think it is. Wouldn't that be cool, man? Wouldn't that be awesome? I think it would be fun. Oh, man. I mean, to be honest with you, that would be a film. It almost feels like perfect for me, right? Because that Hickman Time Runs Out shit is just, it's just so fucking good, right? So if we get that and we could get close to some of that energy we had at the end of that run leading into Secret Wars, oh my God, I'm going to be a happy boy. But I think it would do good for the fandom as well. Like, it would be a nice movie. You know, that movie made like, what, $950 without China. So Multiverse of Madness was a big commercial success. So, yeah, you do like another damn near $1 billion Marvel movie to lead into Doomsday or into Secret Wars, yeah, I think that's a good idea. It also could explain Steven in Secret Wars when he's going to be the sheriff and he's going to, you know, be doing all that sort of stuff. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. What's going to happen with 838, though? Are we done with that universe, you think? I do think so, yeah. Yeah. Although, you never know. The question is, were these universes being set up for fodder? Or are these universes being set up as something that will persist past the reset? Because that's like the supreme universe, right? It's a superior universe. Superior Iron Man, superior Strange, you know, it's a superior version, which is kind of cool. That's not a bad thing to just have in your toolbox, like in your box of toys. So maybe they keep it around. Yeah, it could be fodder. You never know. Josh, if there was a scooper that was in top tier of Marvel Studios, who do you think the scooper would be? I don't know what that question means. What do you mean by that, brother? What do you mean by that? I'm sorry, Josh. I doubt other projects hardly matter compared to Spider-Man and Avengers make profit. Yeah, you might be right. You could be right. Also, he gets the Illuminati name idea from his time in 838. Yes. Yes. Look, Illuminati project was 100% in development, but so was the Nomad project. We just don't know. Marvel might just be bailing on everything. To me, this represents like, hey, don't bail on everything. Like, dude, don't bail on everything. Like, there's some good stuff here. We don't need to race to the end here, you know? In my opinion. In your opinion, what's Strange's role in Secret Wars? It's going to be very similar to his role in Hickman's Secret Wars, I believe. I'm going to get anxiety around Namor. I mean, good luck with that shit. MCU needs to keep dropping good movies. Yeah, of course. Of course. Doctor Strange 3, Enter the Illuminati. Doctor Strange 3, Doom's Illuminati. Bro, that's a title. Doom's Illuminati. Come on, man. Doom's Illuminati. Hell yeah. You think we'll see Spider-Man get the symbiote in Secret Wars or Doomsday? If anything, the end of Doomsday, maybe. But yeah, I think it's the setup for Secret Wars, yeah. The Thor core. Oh, dude, hell yeah. Let's get that Thor core going, baby. We need more tie-ins with rivals. What? Illuminati and the Anunnaki of Madness? Maybe. The Doominati. I kind of like that, the Doominati. You think we'll end up getting Valyria for Secret Wars if Vanessa is Prego when filming? Maybe. I mean, I would do that. Yeah, that's something I would do. Jeff the Shark movie win. I heard Jeff the Shark is actually going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and he's going to get shot in the fucking face by Punisher, like scene 1. Like, oh shit. Sorry, Rob. I didn't see you there. I would have been less violent. What's up, Rob? I need your help on something. What do you need my help with, bud? Sorry about that Jeff the Shark shit. You know, we're just wilding in here, bro. It just gets wild in here. What the fuck? Will there be another chair reveal for Doomsday? Doubt it. Turn off your mic and answer your phone? Oh, geez. This sounds serious. All right. Rob's cooking. That's all I'm gonna say. Rob's cooking. Yeah. The mic was on. Oh no. Oh shit. No, honestly, like Rob could probably barely hear me because my service is so bad at this house. We live really close to the beach, but the service is us. Scorpion and Brand New Day. Hell yeah, Scorpion and Brand New Day. I'm excited about that. That's going to be cool, man. That's going to be real cool. Is there anything else you guys want to ask about? Any other Marvel, DC shit? Because I want to get into watching some videos. I actually picked out some awesome videos that I want to react with you guys. But yeah, any other news, any of that? Anything else going on there? Is Doom going to be the villain in Doc Strange 3? I guess he, if so facto, kind of would be, yeah? DC next? Well, you know, there's not too much going on. There's not too much going on with DC right now, right? I mean, they're doing Peacemaker. I don't know. Are people watching Peacemaker? Trey says, I like MOM, but I hate that it's just like Black Panther 2. They shoehorn cringy characters like America Chavez and Ironheart at the sake of the story and the plot. Yeah, there's certainly some of that stuff going on in there. I don't mind the America Chavez character. You know, one of the things that's like, it's a difficult conversation to have because, like, look, a lot of people just made up their mind on this. And to be honest with you, like, I really don't fucking care. Like, you view it however you want to view it. I don't care. I view it how I view it. And in my opinion, I actually think Waldron does not get enough credit for how Strange is in control of it, like, the whole way. So, like, a lot of people will bring up, well, America's actually the one that stops Wanda. Yes, but it's Steven that is guiding her the entire time. He's like, not yet, not yet. You know what I mean? Like, he has autonomy the entire time. Steven is, I mean, part of the fucking movie is about how Steven's gonna Steven. And if you're a fan of Doctor Strange, like, I appreciate that, and I like that, and Steven's gonna Steven. And it feels, to me, a little whack that, like, a lot of people just they're like, but America, and I don't like it. And then, like, in my head, it's this thing, and she's the focus, and it's not about Strange. And I'm like, brother, I'm not getting any of that. I'm not going to tell you you're invalid, but I'm just telling you, like, I'm not getting any of that. So I feel like, again, people come in with their own thing, their own baggage or whatever. It's fine. Yeah. Look, it's fine to feel differently than me, but understand, this is not some bullshit. I really like stories, and I really, really like characters. I love Doctor Strange, and I'm telling you, this was a great Doctor Strange movie. So at the very least, you have to accept that, you know, this isn't like some fucking fan account person that gets invited to all this shit. This isn't some kind of Access Media opinion. No, this is fucking me telling your ass I don't have that same problem with the movie. You just have to accept that. Like, you have to accept that a real fan that cares does not share your opinion. That's what it is. And if you can't do that, well, then it's fuck you all day. Like, it doesn't even matter the differences. If you're just one of these people that's like, no, but like, I'm right. Brother, I got the fucking microphone. You understand? Jesus. Plus, it was directed by Sam Raimi. Yeah, I like Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi's good. Yeah, I thought Chavez was cool in the movie, man. I have zero problem with that character. Who do you want, or who do you think would be in Doom's Illuminati if they're not just evil Avengers? That's a good question. The evil Illuminati. Well, maybe it's Magneto. Maybe it's Doctor Strange. Maybe it's Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards. Who else? King Thanos? King Thanos? Namor, maybe. I mean, I feel like that whole Namor T'Challa thing, they're never gonna be able to touch that from the comics because they fucked it all up. So they can't. I don't. It doesn't matter. Namor is cool. Namor is only really cool in that story as an antithesis to T'Challa and as this like really interesting obstacle that T'Challa has to overcome. Megan Thee Stallion, God, I hope so. You know what I mean? That would be great. You know, get some kind of like magical BBL surgery where like Infinity Stones are put in there, and it's like she's not just twerking. You know what I mean? She's casting spells and shit. Like, come on, man, let's go. They are setting up the new Avengers after Secret Wars. Yeah, it kind of seems like that way. Yeah. Toby Spider-Man. You think Toby Spider-Man would be on Doom's Illuminati? I don't think a single Spider-Man would be on Doom's Illuminati. I don't think there's a single Peter Parker. Maybe some dark, evil version of it. That's just not a Peter thing, man. I don't think so. Miles Teller Doom? That could be interesting. Tom Holland with the symbiote? I guess that could be interesting. Miguel O'Hara. Now that is a pick. I think at one time that would... Evil Uncle Ben? Holy shit. Superior Iron Man? That could be kind of interesting, yeah. Marcus the Mister with the $50 holla, man. That's very generous. Why do I feel like you're going to try to trigger me now? Should we go into a public panic mode? Or sorry, should we go into panic mode if Doomsday doesn't hit 1 billion? Saw you were sick recently. Hope you're good now. Yeah, I'm feeling better, brother. Thank you. Should we go into panic mode? No, we should not go into panic mode. However, yeah, I mean, of course, that would be it means something. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to be one of these people. It's like this weird thing going on right now where obviously Hollywood's changing. Obviously, a lot of people are not going to the fucking movies. I mean, Denzel himself's like, I don't go to the movies, man. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God. Something is happening. Something is happening culturally. But I'm not ready to, like, I don't know. It's just so silly to say that's happening. Let's ignore the context that it's every film and let's just focus on Marvel Studios. They are fucked. Are they? Or are they the crutch of a dying industry and have been for a decade and it's finally time that the cows come home? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the question, brother. So, you know, is Doomsday going to underperform? Maybe. What will it mean? I don't know. Guess we'll have to see. You know? But I do appreciate the 50. Star Wars news? What's the Star Wars news, guys? What's the Star Wars news? A whole new adventure. Oh, the young Padawan kid, huh? Brew. Okay. All right. Hey, whoa. All of a sudden, this actually... am I going to flip on all my principles and get excited for Star Wars again? Holy, ladies and gentlemen, it might be happening. Let's get fucking Nerd Theory back. Let's go. Okay, so this is breaking news. It's kind of cool. We have a post from the official Star Wars account here. And, I mean, first of all, the leaks were right. I don't know how much you want me to go into with regards to that here, but what you have here is Ryan Gosling's character looking a lot like Dash Rendar, too. Pretty fucking cool. And then this kid, the new kind of young Jedi-like protagonist here. Now, the rumors are that this kid's Force sensitive. Maybe he's Force sensitive a little bit, too, but he's more like a Caleb Dune, you know, kind of a Jedi-type character. He's just trying to, like, protect this young prodigy type, you know, they're doing like the old shonen kind of thing with this young Force sensitive kid, and apparently there's a couple that are going to be Sith. Now, a lot of people thought maybe that was going to be Matt Smith's character. The rumors are that he's actually just going to be an Imperial officer, and that there'll be like a female and a male red lightsaber wielding kind of like Sith characters. That's an old rumor from Daniel RPK, and it seems like he was right about the kid. He was right about this dynamic for the film, so I have no reason to doubt him on the other stuff here. Now, let's click through to the actual article here. Today, to mark the start of production for Star Wars Starfighter, Lucasfilm has announced the full cast? Whoa! For the upcoming feature. Dude, is Star Wars figuring shit out? Is this a whole new world? Are we getting fucking Nerd Theory back for this coming Monday? Holy shit. Lucasfilm has announced a full cast for the upcoming film from Sean Levy. Joining the previously announced Ryan Gosling, the film stars Flynn Gray, Matt Smith, Mia Goth, Aaron Pierre, Simon Bird, Jamal Westman, Daniel Ings, and Amy Adams. Damn, Amy Adams in this bitch too? Wow, that's a pretty good cast. That's a pretty good cast. Star Wars Starfighter is an all-new standalone adventure. The film, which has begun production, is an entirely original story set in a period of time never before explored in Star Wars. Starfighter will be released May 28th, 2027. I feel a profound sense of excitement and honor as we begin production on Star Wars Starfighter, says filmmaker Sean Levy. I like Sean Levy. From the day Kathleen Kennedy called me, inviting me to develop an original adventure in this incredible Star Wars galaxy, this experience has been a dream come true, creatively and personally. Star Wars shaped my sense of what story can do. Wow, that's a powerful statement. How characters and cinematic moments can live with us forever. To join this storytelling galaxy with such brilliant collaborators on screen and off is a thrill of a lifetime. By the way, I don't like The Last Jedi. Let's go! I can't believe he said it. Directed by Sean Levy, the film is produced by Levy and Kathleen Kennedy. Executive producers Ryan Gosling, Dan Levine, Mary Magdalene, Josh McLeglin, and Jonathan Troper. Guys, I can't pronounce anything. It's nothing personal. Change your names to like Smith or something simple if you want me to be able to pronounce it. All right, so that's kind of cool, man. Full cast announcement, first still for the film. Man, there was a time, chat, and I am actually feeling things, and I am actually getting excited. But I got to say, there was a time where a little image like this would have blown my fucking mind, man. I would have been smiling all day. Star Wars has failed me for the last time. I mean, for a lot of different ways, right? But goddamn, there's just something about this that is still, despite everything, activating some part of my brain, getting me somewhat excited about the possibilities of this movie. Kind of interesting. Chat, what do you think? What do you think? Any questions, comments? What do we think's going on here? This is a cool image, dude. I love that jacket. Definitely some Dash Rendar vibes, huh? Yeah, this ain't happening for me. No hope. Oh, you know what? That's kind of interesting. Does this stuff get you excited at all? At all? Throw a one into the chat. Really interested. Conflicted. I'm over Star Wars, but I like Sean Levy. Yeah, the thing that I keep coming back to, Adam, is that Sean had every opportunity in the world. After making Deadpool and Wolverine, every door in the industry was open to him. He made a massive hit at a time when Hollywood and Marvel and Disney really needed a massive hit. Okay? And what I keep coming back to that is most interesting to me about this film is that with every possibility in front of him, every door open, he chose Star Wars. That's interesting. It's wild that he would make that choice. And I think he made the choice because he really fucking loves Star Wars. I think that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? So there's something there, you know? It's funny, though, because when I went on Rule of Three with those guys, like Dash and Wave, were so down on this. They were like, yo, fuck Deadpool and Wolverine, fuck Sean Lee. Like, they were like aggressively anti. So I wonder if other people in the fandom are feeling the same way, and the movie will have to win those people over, right? But I mean, dude, this seems cooler to me than the Rey movie, obviously. This seems cooler to me than Mando Grogu. This is cool. Levy put a lightsaber in Free Guy. That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. David Cornsweet said he would rather play a Jedi than Superman. Yes, true. Levy gets full creative control. I mean, I doubt he gets full creative control, but I think especially considering it's a new era, he probably has a lot of leeway or leeway. Levy? I don't know. Amy Adams plays the kid's mother. It's totally possible. It is absolutely possible. Lucky to have her in the film either way, man. Incredible actress. Star Wars is just not good. It needs to be dropped. Oh, no! Yo, is it Warhammer time? Is it Oh, dude, I just realized how you can't even really see his fucking photo here. I hope you can see it the other way when I had it up earlier. Is it just Warhammer time? Grown men looking forward to the release of a cartoon. Hey, I'm an infidel, idiot, stupid fuckface in the chat. I need you to stay in the chat. I actually have a perfect video designed just for you. You know, it's funny. This video randomly popped up on my feed, and it's literally about how people chastise adults for still having hobbies and shit like that. Oh my god, this video is the perfect antidote to fuckheads like this dude. So I hope this dude stays in here and watches it, because you got to realize you're the loser, brother. You're the one that's fucking this thing called life up. And I'm really excited to get into that video because it resonates with me, man. Resonates with me, you know? So thanks for that. I hope they coordinate the story with the Ray stuff is actually connected. Oh, God. Oh, God. Grandmaster Choda says, finally got some test into the Star Wars universe. Aaron Pierre and Ryan G. and Matt Smith. Oh, I am horny. All right, everybody. All right. Grandmaster Choda, everybody. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Josh, can you make a theory video on this news and your thoughts on the movie? I mean, I can, but I can also, like, fucking talk to you about it right now. You understand? Like, we're live. You know what I'm saying? Same kid from Tales or nah? Same kid from Tales or nah? Oh, I don't know if it'll be connected like that. No, it's probably original character, man. Ryan Gosling needs to be the Ghost Rider. His popularity could get that movie to 1 billion. He is pretty popular, huh? The Goss. Pretty popular, man. Josh, how do you connect the Illuminati stuff to X-Men, Fantastic Four, and the Avengers MCU? Oh, man, that's like a whole thing, man. We're talking about Star Wars right now, man. Are you telling me, chat, that we can't even fill 5 minutes of questions about the Star Wars movie? Everybody's so fucking over Star Wars. Oh, man, I feel bad. Is this movie going to bomb? Is this movie going to bomb? Is that how far Star Wars has fallen? I think this is kind of cool. Skip Star Wars? Jeez. Gosling can only play Gosling. Prove me wrong. Oh, my God. Yes. Bro, Star Wars is going to bomb. I don't care. No. Yes. Jeez. What does that say about you? I know, right? Gives me hope. DOA. Wow, man. They really... I mean, I'll say this. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. How cooked is this bird, baby? How cooked is this bird? We're going to find out. This is cool to me. This is cool to me. In fact, maybe I'm just such a goddamn contrarian. Maybe I'm just such a butthole that all of your energy is kind of making me want to go all in supporting this fucking movie. You know what I mean? Maybe we're back. Justified says, it'll be another copy pasta of Mandalorian twist. They have zero original ideas. Star Wars is dead. He ain't saving shit. Fuck Star Wars. One day we'll learn. Oh my God. Holy. Anybody else got a fucking whole bunch of trauma from their childhood they'd like to freak out about? Damn, Justin. Damn. You know, that feels personal. Remember the last time Josh fully supported a movie? Rebel Moon remembers. Hey, you shut your mouth, Leon. Yo, shut your mouth, man. The Goss is Star Wars Jesus. He might be. We're going to find out. I think a lot of nerds are checked out, but the general audience is going to love this. Maybe, yeah. Maybe that's what it is. We'll see. Why don't they just make a Vader show with Hayden where he consistently has flashbacks to nightmares? That would hit. I don't even think that would hit anymore. I think they should have done that like 5 years ago. I don't think that plays anymore. This is maybe the best chance Star Wars has at kind of like pushing things forward and giving us like a new era and a new thing. I mean, dude, if it's good, if it's fun, and this kid's like, you know, kind of interesting as a Jedi or whatever, like that could work. Rossi says cast seems great. Actually excited, unlike Mando. See, even Rossi is excited about this movie. Man, it has got to be rough out there if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan and you've just been trying to hold on this entire time. It must be pretty rough out there, man. Because man, they really did cook that shit, I think. Did you see Theory talk to Boba at the con? Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Excited for him. Get the Vong involved and it might breathe some new life. Yeah, something like that could be cool. Something like that could be cool. It only takes one awesome Luke show and Star Wars is back. Maybe. I kind of think we're past that. I don't think we need any of that stuff anymore. I'm interested to see what, because like even Ahsoka, I think it's going to break new ground. I'm not excited about Ahsoka because I want to see like fucking Luke Skywalker, Han, and Leia again, you know, doing all their shit. That could be a nice little bonus. But like, frankly, I'm more excited with like what's going on with Peridia. Like what's going on with Anakin in the fucking world between worlds? Like what is the one? What's going on? Like, I don't even know that I would get excited for like a Luke Skywalker in his prime show at this point. Like at this point, I'm over it. I need Star Wars to evolve. I need Star Wars to be. Star Wars needs to somehow remain what it was with all new stuff. Does that make sense? Never mind. I just remembered Rey is involved. Yeah, that is the other side of this, right? Rey. I mean, do you see Daisy Ridley in this photo somewhere? Somebody find fucking Daisy Ridley. Like, where's Waldo in this picture? Because she's in here. You know. And what will that do to the fandom? What's that going to look like when it happens? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I want a Luke show to fill in the gap in the Mando era. Yeah, dude, that's all good. I understand that. I'm just telling you that like there was a time years ago that I would have went for that. And now, don't want it at all. And I think a lot of Star Wars fans are at that place where, like, I just don't want to see Disney touch any more of that shit. Because it's either going to feel like this gratuitous apology or it's going to feel too little too late. You know, like, I just don't care. I think they need to show us that they can provide something new and have a new interesting thing. Like the nostalgia well has dried up for me. You know? Yeah, like I'm just not going to be interested in that stuff anymore, man. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. All right, that's kind of interesting though, huh? Yeah, kind of interesting there. All right, is that one dumbass still here? Because I'd like to watch this video now. I think that he will, I think that he might enjoy this. Because, like, it's good. It's good. Whoa, what just happened there? What the fuck just happened there? Oh, it's going to open it here. Okay, hang on. Get that out of here. Open link. Why does it keep doing that? Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Okay, so what I'll do is grab that, grab that, grab that, grab that. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bing, bing, boom. Bada bing, bing, boom, 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 bing, bing. Bing, 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 bing. Boom, 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 boom. Bing, boom. Boom, bing. Bing, 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 boom, 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 bing, 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 bing. All right, we're going to watch this. So this video randomly popped up for me, and it is titled The War on Adult Hobbies and Why We Need to Fight Back. What an intriguing video. Video has 121,000 views made a couple of months ago from a dude with around 50,000 subscribers. So this is what they would call an outlier video for him. It really blew up for his channel. And I'm intrigued. I would like to know more.
You know, at those family parties when an uncle that you haven't seen in a while asks you what you're doing and you talk about the games that you're playing, or they see you interacting in some type of hobby and they'll say, oh, you're still doing that? You'll grow out of it one day. And I just always thought that was one of the stupidest things that I ever heard in my entire life. And I think so many people fall into this trap. And in today's unedited yap, I'm going to talk about how you shouldn't be growing out of your hobbies as an adult. And if you are, I think in a lot of cases, you might actually just be living wrong. You might actually just be making a mistake. And obviously,
yeah, you living wrong. Who was that guy that was in here? Find him. You're living wrong.
This isn't for everyone. Some of the angry people that get triggered about this, and y'all know the whole bean soup theory thing, right? Like everyone has to make everyone, like everything has to make everyone mad these days. But you know, this is just my take on the situation.
I'm mad about that too.
And how I've decided to make room for things in my life. And I think people don't have the tools or the people in their lives to show them the tools that they have access to in general. And when it comes to getting older and finding a job and picking where you're going to school, a lot of these things aren't necessarily planned for. You do sign a paper that gives you tens of thousands of dollars of loans, but you don't know what the long-term implication of that is. And you maybe go through school or fail a class or two and don't realize what that changes in terms of your mentality, or you don't decide to go to college because some loser told you like going to college is dumb. And, you know, the rich elites are still selling their kids to college and everything. You know, it's just, you just picked the wrong field. It's not that college is bad or whatever, right? But when you're done all of it, you're then working a job. Sometimes, you know, I think of blue collar workers. I think of someone like my brother who works in a more manual field than myself, and you know, who spends longer hours doing manual work. And he likes a lot of the work that he does, but it takes him away from some of his hobbies sometimes. Thankfully, him personally, the way shift work works, like he has some of these days off that, you know, kind of working longer days and has like more days off. And so it kind of works for him that way. But it goes to show that in some fields of work, people are taken away from having time to themselves. And then you have kids, you get in a relationship, and a lot of people don't tell you what that means either. The amount of time that you need to spend with your partner and the amount of time you need to spend with your kids to be a good mother, a good father, a good brother, a good sister, whatever it is, right? There is real responsibilities that people don't teach you. And that's led to many things, you know, the whole movement of, you know, how women have hate for a lot of men and how men haven't been taught in society. And I think that's a real thing, you know, like a lot, you see this thing happen, you know, I'm not dumb to it. I see it happen in my own life where, you know, how my mother treats me differently as a man versus my sister, you know, treats her differently, and where they can go, and the kind of subtle things that they teach you growing up, how, you know, you should always cover up as a girl, but it's not change the attitude of like how the guys are. And where I'm trying to go with this is all these societal factors come and change how you're affected as someone with a hobby, and how it's taught that, you know, playing video games or playing games, you know, board games in general, or engaging in artistic hobbies or just doing fun things is something you'll grow out of. You know, it's something that you
know, as an interesting aside here too, I'll say something that this is already making me think of is we just had an article come out in the Hollywood Trades, and it was talking about the young men thing, right? It was Disney's desperate to get young male audiences again because they're just seeing in their data that that's not a group that they're actually like holding strongly, and therefore they're going to spend resources to try to court that audience more for their brand, which I just argue is like the greatest cosign possible that something that had happened was not working, right? I mean, it's just as simple as that, right? But within that article, one of the things they said in the article was sort of dismissive of these young male audiences because they said they're all trapped in their rooms playing video games. Like it literally said in the article, and it was a very disparaging way that it was described, that Disney can't reach out to these young men because they're all trapped in their rooms playing video games. And I think what he's trying to say here is there's societal pressure as you are coming of age in this culture to abandon some of these things. And it's not just gatekeepers and old people. In some ways, it's societal pressures that actually represent like what do adult female people feel about you? How will you be able to add value as a man within a world that's like constantly recontextualizing like what that even means? And still enjoy hobbies and play video games. You know what I mean? So it is kind of interesting that's a thing.
You don't have the time for anymore. Once you have kids, you have bigger responsibilities. But then, you know, your children are also a model of you. They look after you. They want to do the things that you want to do. You know, if you enjoy eating something, your kid will probably want to eat that too. Yeah. And so what is the type of thing that you want to teach your kids? To be robotic and not happy? You don't want to show your kids your love for Magic the Gathering. You don't want to show your kids the favorite video game you played once, the indie game that changed your life. these aren't the things that you want to pass on to your kids, and especially with your partner. When you choose that partner, a lot of people like make long-term decisions that they can't walk away from now. A partner that doesn't maybe like everything that they go through, and they're willing to kind of sacrifice because they feel like they're lonely in the world, and they're willing to make decisions where their partner's like, oh, that's a dumb hobby, don't do that anymore, that makes you less of a partner.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah,
that
100%.
makes you less
well,
of a,
I'll just say this too, like straight up, one of the biggest red flags in the world is like if you're dating somebody and they try to besmirch your hobbies or whatever, like that's an instant, it's over for me. Like that, you would just never get into my orbit if you were that kind of a person, because it's twofold. It's number one, like, I mean, I just have such a sort of fucking mindset of what life is supposed to be like for me, and enjoying life is a part of what life is about. But also, like, that just means something about that type of personality. It means like, oh, this is a person willing to look past the obvious joy a person derives of a thing and try to like alter their behavior based on some weird arbitrary thing that they believe about the world, right? And it's just like the goal of a person to do that, to come into somebody's orbit and be like, oh, hey, here's like your life, and here's all the things that you shouldn't be doing, and I'm going to admonish you for doing those things.
a man, less of a woman, less of a whoever.
Right.
Watching season 2, and they're like, I don't understand. You go through a cutscene and you're given a task, and you go as Ellie and you go about that task. And like for us, that's like a really dumb conversation. Like it just feels so silly that like,
right.
Of course that's what it is, right? It is kind of just like a movie, except like instead of the movie going down a predetermined path, like you get to choose the path. Right. It's the same thing. You get to experience the story and the conversations, and you get to have the background conversations that you hear in the pub scene or whatever. You get to be a part of that experience all throughout. And this just goes to show. And then this was, a woman saying this, and a lot of people are like, of course, women don't understand. And of course, there's many female gamers out there, but it just goes to show that there are groups of people. It's not just women, but highlighting that video was about a woman. So there's a lot of unfortunately negative stereotypes around that in the comment section, but just goes to show you there are groups of people that just don't understand these things. They didn't necessarily grow up with the same type of video games and or hobbies as you, and they may have enjoyed them. Maybe they wouldn't, but then they grow up with sometimes negative opinions and sometimes bad ones. But then it takes away from their level of enjoyment, because those people may enjoy those things. But what happens to the people that do enjoy these things? They're being told, I had a way to deal with things when I was upset. When, I would go play this hobby, I'd go ride this bike. You had a way to deal with some of the low points in your life. And that may have been through video games and hobbies. A lot of people talk about how magic has saved their life. Video games have saved their life. And I think in many ways for
anybody resonating with this point, there's a member of the community, I'm not going to call them out because, it's their story to tell or whatever, but there's a member of the community that frankly was on a bad track and was going a bad way. And a couple comic books get put in their hand, a D&D thing, and then all of a sudden, they have a different thing. They have a different way to process, to cope, to spend their time, to, I mean, for me personally, and it's going to sound, you guys are going to be so fucking mad, but really, Warhammer did really help me out. Because, Marvel and DC, and I'll always love Marvel and I'll always love DC, and I'll maybe love Star Wars because Starfighter looks kind of cool, and maybe they'll cut Rey out of it, and maybe Kathleen Kennedy's finally leaving, et cetera, et cetera. But the real shit is like, dude, the Disney shit took a huge hit, and I was in danger of losing my passion for nerdy shit in general. And part of that is like, it's not even Disney. It's just like, I think as a content creator, you're so close to these things that what you love starts to become work, and then like you lose a little bit of it. Right. But getting into Warhammer and like really falling in love with it and like having genuine passion for a hobby really did save I almost want to say like it saved the idea of passion in my life in general, which is crazy, right? I mean, it sounds wild, but I've had this experience before. I think other people have this experience, and I think that these things can be very meaningful, and they can be a very cathartic way to process. Sometimes it can be escapism, whatever it is. But yeah, there's a lot of valid human experiences that come from hobbies. You know what I mean?
Myself, I'm not sure if it's saved my life, but it's definitely been a net improvement. A lot of the video games I would play, I'd never take back, the experiences and camaraderie I had playing, Modern Warfare 2 growing up. A lot of the friends I made along the way playing Magic the Gathering, the relationships we honed through some of the video games that we played and shared before. You think of Universes Beyond and a lot of the communications and togetherness that's happening with Final Fantasy, and so many fans of it and people connecting over these cards. And it just brings in a sense of the gathering, and how a lot of people in the world right now are losing the plot. They're forgetting that in many ways there is no end. It's not just you're just looking forward to just ending it all. Life is what you make it. And that's part of like the hobbies that you play. It's that day to day. That's what life is, the enjoyment. It's going to the beach once and, having this experience. The people that talk about, your parents talking about how, I used to go on these trips and do these beautiful things, and you reminisce with them. And those trips may not have been the most beautiful thing. They're not mentioning, the drink that was spilled on them. They're not mentioning the time when they tripped and, it was like a little upsetting, but they're still talking about how they went on a walk.
It's just one more thing. It just kind of comes to mind. It reminds me of, because I've had some of my struggles with mental health are because like, I like to grind, and obviously like not just grind, but, be successful and make money and stuff. And so, YouTube's kind of weird where you want to be successful for so long, and then you are successful and you start making views, and it's really good. But there's a part of it that like at some point, and other people have talked about this, and I've talked to some of my I guess coworkers or like the other people that show up to the YouTube factory about this, and it's very easy to burn out on this shit because it's such a hamster wheel, and it's just like you just keep going and going and going and grinding. I think Paul said it to me one time. Paul from Heavy Spoilers, he said, when views are down, you're desperate to get the views back up. When views are up, you're desperate not to fall off, so you just want to keep it going. And it's like, it really fucks with you. But one of the things that's sort of been useful for me in my mental health is this idea that like, if you optimize your life for hustle and grind, it's kind of like optimizing your life for brushing your teeth. Meaning, brushing your teeth is something you have to do. And I view hustle and grind as something you have to do. But it's not what you want to do. Nobody fucking enjoys brushing their teeth. And if you were to optimize your life for brushing your teeth, you're fucking up. You should actually optimize your life for hobbies. You should optimize your life for fun. You should optimize your life for the things that like set your soul on fire. And then you figure out the bare minimum of hustle, grind, and brushing your teeth and all this other bullshit that you have to do to get there. Right. And so for me, this has been useful because like, if I don't take a step back and understand this, I will just go, and then be fucking miserable. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just, what do you want life to be? What should life be? You know what I mean? And if you're just all about like the grind and the money and the glory and all that stuff, I mean, that's fine. It's very Machiavellian. You know what I mean? And I don't necessarily think that leads to being happy. If happiness is the goal, there's a way to reverse engineer it that is just not obvious within the current hustle culture. You know what I mean?
Through, downtown, Paris or something, whatever. Like they're talking about these trips that they went on. They just don't give you all the details. You don't talk about necessarily all the games you lost, but you may talk about some of the ones that were crazy wins for you, some of the crazy combos that you went through. And these are the type of experiences that these people are telling you, like, you shouldn't have as an adult anymore, because for some reason your responsibilities are more important.
Right.
And this is where the whole idea of, some of the jobs that you pick might be leading this away from you. If you feel like you're unhappy, make that change. Not a lot of people can, but I think a lot more people can than they think they could. They just don't know the resources that they have. You don't have to be stuck in the situation that you're in. You just have to make the leap, because if you're unhappy, what's the alternative? What's the other decision you can make? Yes, there's a difference between, I'm not telling you, you can go, you make $100 a week or whatever, go make $1 million, make a smart decision. That's a different thing.
Make $1 million. Why don't you?
Sometimes people can just make simple life decisions to help them sleep better, help them be a better person when they're around in their relationship, just be a better parent in general, because you chose to give more time to your hobbies, because you chose to, when you're going to the groceries, bring your friend along. And, that helps beat like the loneliness epidemic or whatever. And, You know, it's a controversial topic as like a male as well. The male loneliness epidemic is kind of real, but like self-caused, you know.
Sure.
Males kind of suck at making friends, and
Yeah.
you know, these hobbies are important for that. So it's more like, you know, call a friend and just go be a friend. And sometimes
Hobbies
that's easier
are
through these
incredibly
conduits
important
of
for that. Yeah.
sports or video games, or just, again, hobbies. And being told is that like they're not important is kind of just a slap in the face, because you look at that person, you realize like, are you sad? Like, what are the hobbies that they have? You know, do you just work all day? You know, I think about some of my parents' generation and how all they're used to is work, because they had nothing before. They had no sense of enjoyment. They couldn't, they were just in survival mode. And now maybe some of them were lucky enough to immigrate or just, you know, be in a place in general, maybe in their home country, where they're better off now. They don't know what else to do. Once they retire, but they don't know anything but work. And so that's a conversation I have actively with my parents about, you know, be ready. You know, you're going to retire soon. Forget work. Think about what your hobbies are.
Yeah.
Engage in a TV show right now. Engage in going somewhere regularly on walks now. You know, engage in things to look forward to now, because once you're done work, that's going to go away. The camaraderie of seeing your coworkers that you may or may not like is going to disappear. Those regular conversations that you have with people in your life, like, foster your friendships now so that they last in the long term. You know, some people are just used to that same environment. And you see that happen when you move outside of school, right?
Yeah.
So many friendships fall apart because you're not forced in the same space over and over again.
Right.
Hobbies are so important in bringing those people in, those conversations in, whether it be a book club.
You know, I heard it said one time that online multiplayer voice chat is like the only reason dudes do that is so they have an excuse, because it would be considered lame to just call your homies and talk to them. So we will get a Call of Duty team together, we'll get our Marvel Rivals team together, and we'll all be in a voice chat together. And really, it's all just an excuse, because if we just called our homies up, it would be considered a little weird. So just something to think about.
Club, or just a, you know, a cycle fit class or a spin class or whatever it is. These spaces are very important for you to engage and flourish as a person, to find the things that you like and engage in things that make you feel better, whether it be, you know, going to your favorite restaurant or something. That could be as much as a hobby as, you know, engaging and playing some Magic the Gathering or something. At the end of the day, you know, money needs to be spent. You can't just be sitting there saving all the time. And, you know, that comes in moderation. You know, you can't be irresponsible, but you also just need to spend the time we have on this earth enjoying ourselves.
Right.
That's what hobbies
what the fuck
are.
is it for, dude?
You shouldn't have to give up your hobbies for the work that you do. Because if you feel like that's not a sacrifice that's giving you positive return on investment, go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, because again, what's the alternative? Is the alternative continuing to be sad and hating your life?
Yes, that is the alternative.
Wouldn't you want to make active decisions to do that? You know, one thing that I always look back at is, and I may not always, you know, kind of succeed at this, but I think back, and honestly, this makes me really sad. And so sometimes I don't go through it a lot, but I think back, and I think back to my younger self, and I would ask them, like, are we happy where we're at? And sometimes people can't control that. Life decisions that are outside of their situation, people passing away, vocational situations, money, just life environment. There's so many things that are out of our control. But if you're lucky enough to be watching this YouTube video, I would imagine on average, you have a higher than average control of your life. That's not true for all my viewers. It's not. I acknowledge that. But I think some of you, at least through this video, can at least understand that there are decisions that you could be making to better yourself. And I think about that every day. I think about that every day when I choose not to, you know, budget a little bit more, don't go out. But then, you know, it's like 30 degrees outside. So nice. Maybe we could go out on a patio and make a memory.
30 degrees.
Take a picture with my wife and just like think back on it or something. These are the type of things that you have to think about, you know, making better memories, whether that be, you know, through engaging in your hobbies or just going out and doing something. It's so important. And you shouldn't let people hold you back from that.
Yeah.
You know, you should be 40 years old and playing soccer. You should be 50 years old and playing Magic. You know, like you should be out there. You should be engaging. You should be joining like these little leagues or a
What's
book
it
club.
for?
Get out there and enjoy yourself. You know, don't let other people dictate what fun is for you, what enjoyment is for you, whether it be your partner or your children. You are allowed to be your own person. Your existence is what you make it. Because again, there's no real what's at the end. It's not retirement. That's, you know, because in retirement, you have to make it what it is day to day. Life is what you make it every day. And I want to see more of my viewers enjoy that for themselves. You know, again, if you're watching this video, on average, you probably have, my guess is, a higher than average control of the situation in your life. If you don't, I'm sorry. I can't say much to you. This is probably me being ignorant of that. But the point of this video is for the few people that this message can get to who know they have control of their lives, who know that they might be in the gutter and are scared to make that choice and want to make a choice that can make them better, that they feel like will make them better. Make that decision, especially if you're young. The decisions can be a lot harder when you're older, but it doesn't necessarily mean you can't make those decisions. Like on average, people are living longer. People have the ability to live longer. You can make decisions to have you live longer and be healthier and just be able to enjoy your hobbies longer, enjoy your happiness longer.
Hell yeah.
And I guess that's where ultimately this video is. Like it started from a yap about how like people saying video gaming is stupid when you're older because like they just don't understand what hobbies are. I think this is a deeper discussion to have about like different types of video games and different ways to engage with them. But really is a discussion around hobbies and having fun. Don't let people tell you that having fun and being happy is stupid. Because they don't understand what that is. Like you sitting there playing your game is having fun and being happy.
Hell yeah. So I'm going to pause it there. I'm going to put this link into the chat for y'all, but because you should watch this, support him, but also send this to some people. Because, you know, there's probably some people that need to hear this message too. So send it out. Any thoughts, comments, questions before we move on to the next one? You know, I didn't watch the video beforehand, but good video, good takes. Really, really interesting. What do you guys think? What do you guys think, man? Thank you, brother. I actually needed to hear that. Hell yeah, man. Thank you, Josh. Oh, no worries, man. Good video. I'm glad you liked it, brother. Yeah, man. Yeah. There's some, you know, it's funny. I think the algorithm on YouTube is changing a bit. I don't know if you guys are experiencing this at all. I'm getting some really good, valuable videos sent to me by the algorithm recently. And I think, you know, a video like this obviously resonates with people. That's why it's 2 months old, but it's getting shared around a lot. And I think that like people are finding value in this video, and that's why it's getting shared. I got a couple other videos we're going to watch today too, but yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff. I keep getting old Den live streams. Really? That's kind of interesting. I didn't know what's up with that. Needed that. I work in New York City construction. I hear you, man. I hear you. I think that the resounding message is like, what is life for? And I think there's a way to take care of your responsibilities, to be a, you know, a good member of society, so to speak, to kind of provide value. But I think it's okay to turn around and have some fun and have some hobbies and get into some shit. Because if you don't do that, you become that guy that came into the chat earlier, you know, and that's just that's not a happy person. You know what I mean? Like that's a sad person that wants other people to be sad. And you don't want to be that person. You know what I mean? Like you want to be the guy at work or the gal at work that people are just like, yo, like you seem to be enjoying yourself. You seem to have it together. You know, there's a light on. There's a light. There's like an energy coming off of you. And I think that really just happens when you decide, I'm going to get what I want out of this thing called life. And I think I can. You know, that's a good feeling. That's a good feeling to have. Being nerdy is cool in my friend group and people around me, but I learned to accept not everybody will like it like that. 100%. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'll put the link in the chat a couple more times. Please go support his actual video and spread that video around, you know, send it to some people. I think it's pretty good. All right, I got two more videos for you. You want to take the Warhammer medicine first, or you want to finish off with the Warhammer medicine? Because we're doing Warhammer, okay? There's a Warhammer videos about to play. Do you want it right now? Or do you want it to be the last video we watch today? What do you think? Warhammer last, Warhammer first. Isn't that just the state of the internet, huh? Finish on Snorehammer so I can take a nap. Get him out of here. Finish with the best, last, Warhammer first. Oh, man, what the hell? Do we have to go to the poll here? Should we go to the polls? Let's go to a poll here, man. Warhammer video next. Boom. Yes or no? Should the Warhammer video be next? Let's have Warhammer now. What did Theory think of the model you gave him? Oh, he said it was cool. You know, we were actually just talking about McFarlane toys and whatnot when we were there and stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, he thought it was cool. I was contemplating your video last night about Loki. Ooh, what do you think? What do you think? End on the good hammer. Bros, I am hungry, man. I think, so I was sick all week last week. I finally started lifting again. I'm feeling good, you know, sore, but good. Brother, I am hungry. I'm fucking ravenous. Oh. So I got to get some food out here. Warhammer lasts so we can leave as soon as it starts. Hey, you don't say that. Okay, right now the poll is saying no, so we'll do the other video first then. Should I wait just a minute to see? Order some jalapeno poppers? Hell yeah. Oh my God, it's 50-50. Oh my God, it's 49-51. I'm going to wait. This is too close. We got to wait a little bit. We got to wait a little bit here. I love your Sadie Sink theory and was blown away on how it made sense. Oh, I'm glad you liked it, man. I'm glad you liked it. Space Marine 2? Hell yeah. Woo, Space Marine 2, they're cooking, man. Roll a dice? Maybe we should roll a die. Wait until Warhammer says 51 and then end the poll. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea there. Except more people are voting no. What the hell? What the fuck? What the hell? Get me into Warhammer. Hey, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. All right, fine. We'll end the poll. We'll end the poll. We'll do the other video first, and then we'll do the Warhammer video. Sheesh. You're going to like this one, too. This is a video titled... Oh, my God. This is a 40-minute video. Ooh. Ooh. 40-minute video, though. We're an hour 40 minutes in. The title of this video is Why Nothing Feels Exciting Anymore. It's kind of, I mean, I was intrigued by this video from what I saw. All right, let me go. I'm going to use a restroom. I'm going to use a restroom. Grab a water. And we're going to do this video. But there might not be a stream tomorrow. Okay, I'm just going to say it right now. You know? Because I have hobbies. Okay? So I'll be right back. 40 minutes though? Oh, damn. 40 minutes though? Shit. Shit. Should we do it? The problem is, like, I don't even know if, no, I didn't play it. I'm not trying to be Hassan, bruh. I don't know that. Here, hang on 1 second here. Okay. I think the issue is, because I'd like to record this and put it on the Clips channel. The problem is, okay, so maybe I go, okay, delete all this shit. I'm just worried about space, you know? Okay. Well, hopefully that I prefer a stream tomorrow. Yeah, no, I hear you there. All right, you know what? Let's give it a shot. You know, we don't have to watch the whole video if we don't like it, if we're not vibing with it. So this is called Why Nothing Feels Exciting Anymore by Johnny Harris. 2.4 million views from 3 months ago. People talking about this.
To buy the best maps in 2025. You're doing it wrong. You're still using this to navigate life. Embarrassing.
I'm so bored right now, and I truly hate the way it feels. You're probably bored too. You clicked on this video trying to feel less bored, and all you've got is a guy scrolling on his phone alone in a room. Here, let me see if I can help with that. Is this better? Good. It's not just you and me. It's everyone.
Yeah.
Boredom is on the rise, even at a time when we're in the golden age of content. Boredom isn't simple. It's not trivial. It's not benign. It's actually a painful emotion that quietly haunts our sense of meaning.
By the way, I have a cure for
more
boredom.
Like pain or disgust. We've been going deep on this. There's a lot of great new science. My producer Alex read like 5 books on the topic. In all of this literature, I am starting to see a clear story that explains why all of us are more bored than ever. But I'm also seeing something that I didn't expect, something that's quietly hidden within the feeling of boredom. How this really unpleasant feeling, boredom, might actually be key to living a more purposeful, creative life.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that too? I'm gonna try not to pause a bunch because it's a 40-minute video. But I'm reminded a little bit of there's this concept of a dopamine reset. I forget exactly what it's called, but like some people suggest that being bored is actually an appropriate neurological response, and that you actually need, if you really want to reset your dopamine sensors, you actually have to allow yourself to be bored again. Kind of interesting.
Your life is like a road trip. Stick with me while I build this analogy because it's actually really useful for understanding the real meaning of boredom. It's a road trip in the dark. In this analogy, the most important parts are, first off, your headlights. This is your attention, your ability to pay attention and what you pay attention to. And the second most important part is this fuel tank. We're gonna look at this a lot. This represents your sense of meaning and purpose. It helps motivate you, pushes you along the journey of your life. Attention and meaning are vital for how humans navigate their lives, how they make decisions on where to go with the constraints of their everyday experience. These determine the route that you take on this road trip. So, you're going along your life, you're taking turns, you're making decisions on how to spend your time. You spend time with friends, you pay attention to this, and look, your tank is filling up with meaning and purpose. For a lot of us, friendship is fuel. You go for a walk, maybe in nature, you listen to music. That is meaningful to you. Maybe you watch a good movie, you shine your attention on that, and that is actually pretty fulfilling. But life is heavy and hard, and sometimes your fuel runs out. Your attention fractures or fades, and then this happens.
Oh no!
Lights out. This is boredom, the state where your sense of purpose and meaning is on empty, and consequently, you don't really have the ability to muster the energy to pay attention to something that would change the situation. Real quick, before we go on, have you noticed that one way you might cure your boredom is email? Knocking out a few emails makes you feel productive, doesn't take that much work sometimes. But if you look closely, you might note that a lot of the emails you're knocking out are actually junk. Like they shouldn't have been there. You don't want them there. You never signed up for them. This same thing extends to robocalls and all of those text messages
is this a sponsor?
get, and even junk mail being
This feels like a sponsor.
It's sort of a constant low-level buzz, and one that I kind of hate. I'm telling you all this because it has to do with our sponsor today, Incogni. Incogni has woken me up to just how extensive a industry the data broker market is. These are companies who make a lot of money off of collecting your information, your address, your shopping habits, your birthday, your court records, and selling it to anyone willing to pay. Marketers, credit agencies, insurance companies, you name it. I actually heard about Incogni a few years ago. I signed up, I gave them permission to act on my behalf, and then they went out to these data brokers and say to them in some legal language, hey, take Johnny off your lists.
True.
And it has worked hundreds of times, actually, automatically without me having to do anything. I actually just get to sit back and look at this fancy looking dashboard, see the status of all of the requests that have been made and the ones that have been successful, which at this point, there's like hundreds of them.
Yeah, now I'm bored, right?
Do a little update right now. Incogni. What is my current number of? Dude, 744 total requests to these data brokers. And of those, 612 have been completed. That's very satisfying. 132 are in progress. Man, this is great. Just this month, there have been more than 10. You just see all of this. It's very satisfying. They just launched this unlimited plan, which now allows you to request removal from any site, including those creepy people search sites that post your info online for anyone to see. So if you want to try this out, go to incogni.com/Johnny Harris. Clicking that link helps support this channel. If you use the code Johnny Harris at checkout, you get 60% off the annual plan.
Damn, 60%?
Like I said, like
8-Man Ultra, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You already Nerd Venger now, once again.
Incogni scans them and takes me off.
Appreciate
So
you.
thank you, Incogni, for sponsoring today's video, for allowing us to do this work. With that, let's dive back into why we are so bored. The most
why are we so
surprising
bored?
thing that I've learned so far while researching this is that boredom is not this trivial, mundane feeling. It's actually a pretty strong emotional experience, and it kind of sucks.
I define boredom as meaning withdrawal, as a sense of discomfort, telling you that your need for personal meaning is not being met.
Your brain's way of telling you need to change what you're doing because what you're doing is unsatisfying. You find it hard to focus.
And that feeling of like, I can't do anything about this. I don't have any, agency here, or what's the meaning of all of this? You're just kind of stuck there.
I'd say that the experience of boredom is an experience of unfreedom, an experience of being trapped in the present without meaning.
Time seems to slow.
You're in a situation where I don't care about this. This really doesn't stimulate me in any way.
Tolstoy described boredom as like a desire of desires.
I think that's
I
accurate.
also remember a friend of mine, he worked with the postal services when we were students, and his job was to take mailbags and turn them inside out to see if there was any letters remaining.
Yo, this kind of reminds me and asks me, begs a really interesting question. What's the weirdest, most boring job you guys have ever had? What is the weirdest job, the most boring job that you've ever had? Because I have one that's pretty funny, but I wonder if you guys have any good ones. This is more Snorehammer than Snorehammer. Are you guys bored? Do you want me to switch to the Warhammer video? I will totally switch to the Warhammer video. So I had a job one time, and I swear to God, it was cutting pineapple. My whole job was slicing and handing out samples of pineapple. And so for hours a day, I would come in and I would cut pineapple. Just fucking, just pineapple, and like serving up pineapple. It was the weirdest job I ever had. Whew. You must be nice at cutting pineapples. Believe that. Believe that. Nothing worse than collecting carts at Walmart. Interesting. Yeah, that would probably be pretty boring. Yeah. How much did you get paid? Oh, I don't even remember. It was like Nothing. You were the pineapple guy? I bet couples loved you. Oh, boom shakalaka. Did you have a quarter? No. I was a butcher in college. That is boring as hell. Same crap every day. Yeah, probably, huh? Yeah. I'd rather watch you slice pineapples. Damn, everybody wants to go on to the Warhammer video. Guys, I will definitely go on to the Warhammer video. We're 6 minutes into this, though. We only have over a half hour more of this video. You know what I'm saying? Like, we only have a half hour more of me doing this video. Should we go to the Warhammer video? Maybe we go to the polls real quick, huh? Maybe we go to the polls. Is it Warhammer video time? Let's see. Let's see where you guys are at. We get the gist. You guys like incredible video, absolutely awesome. Next, move on. Incredible production, really good point. Next. I see your plan. Show shit video to make people want Warhammer. I definitely don't think this is a shit video. I think it's pretty interesting. It's rigged. This video slaps. Move on. Exactly. Most of us probably know Johnny Harris. Really? I had no idea who he is. I heard we need votes. Hey, what? This motherfucker's getting on his second account. The fuck? I mean, 40 minutes to tell us about boredom. LOL. Fair. Great talk. Next topic. Exactly. Exactamundo. I like this video and it's interesting. Ooh, we're like right on the line here. 50-50, man. We're right on the line here. 50-50. Look at this poll, dude. It's crazy. 50-50. I can't believe it. I think any job you do for a while can be boring. Yeah, I think that is true. Yeah. Eddie, I don't even have an opinion on that, brother. Whoa, this account has the same name as Justin's. I know, it is pretty crazy, right? He should have kept gaming stuff in the background. Zoomers can handle more than 10 minutes of video without direct stimming. I mean, maybe, yeah, he should have probably kept the video in the background, dude. You're not wrong. All right, guess what? We're going to end the poll, and we're going to switch to the Warhammer video. But only because I don't want to do 40 minutes of video reacting here. But this is a good video. Everybody's bored. You guys all suck. Fucking get hobbies so that you're not bored. And the hobby you need to get is fucking Warhammer. Look, the whole thing was it's a slow roll here. I was trying to do a 40-minute video about boredom, and then I was going to tell you guys, you know what cured my boredom? You know what cured my fucking boredom? Little hobby called Warhammer. So let's get it right in your face.
This tabletop game is about space.
So this is actually a really interesting video. A couple of different reasons why. Number one, I think it's going to continue to explain to some of you that just don't want to accept it how popular Warhammer is, how popular it is currently becoming. But the title of the video is kind of interesting. It actually says why Warhammer fans love the game but hate the company. Now, this is a big hot button topic in the actual Warhammer community as well. I have a little bit of a hot take here, so let's react to this video together.
This tabletop game is about space fascists and chaos gods.
Hell
it's
yeah.
loved by celebrities and art school dropouts alike. This group is about to enter battle, and right now, they're preparing their troops.
Hell
what they're painting are Warhammer figurines. And while they might look like gray blobs, they're actually an integral part of a tabletop war game that's been dominating the space for nearly 40 years. It's grown so big that it's now traded on the London Stock Exchange with a market cap of over £5 billion, about $7 billion. But what
$7
makes
billion?
this game so addicting that people will throw hundreds of dollars at
That's even more billions than I said it was worth.
Unpainted figurines, that Henry Cavill wants to produce a TV series based on it. And how did a tabletop game, one most of you have probably never even heard of, become a $1 billion empire?
how did this happen?
Warhammer set itself apart early on, and a big part of that has to do with these little guys.
Yeah.
These are Warhammer figurines, and the company behind them and the game itself is called Games Workshop.
Yeah.
To play a game of Warhammer, each player needs a unit and a set of minis to represent them on the battlefield, and you can only get them through a small collection of official Games Workshop channels.
Yep.
This is a Warhammer store.
Oh, hell
formerly
yeah.
called Games Workshop stores. There are now over 500 of these worldwide. And this is where a new Warhammer player is born. So, unfortunately, Games Workshop has a strict policy preventing their retail employees from giving interviews, but that doesn't stop me from going in. Oh my God, these are expensive. And buying some minis.
Each comes with statistics like
They
hit
are a little
points and
expensive,
abilities
yeah.
listed on a card. And most of them come just like this, bare bones and gray. But that's part of the appeal. Painting these figurines and customizing your army is an integral part of the hobby. Warhammer stores even host painting events. If you go in as a newbie, you'll likely be offered the chance to paint a mini for free. This is the first step in the indoctrination.
What you guys should all do.
This is the one I picked.
Honestly, I'm not going to make fun of his painting. Look, you guys should go in there. They will teach you and literally sit down with you, and you can paint a mini. Just go into the Warhammer store, paint a mini, and then you won't be bored anymore.
Painted. I've been calling him Gung Ho, but that sounds like a drag name. So let me know in the comments what I should actually call him. In a way, it's a brilliant strategy.
Duh.
Creating an artistic and truly personal connection to the figure, you feel emotionally tied to the game, and you kind of feel obligated to play it in a good way.
You have people who put a lot of effort and a lot of time into, you know, making their models look nice.
Yeah.
And so when you have an event, there's a good feeling. You're playing against a guy who's also put hundreds of
Dark
hours
Angels.
into making his army look good.
Hell
I really
yeah.
grew to appreciate the painting aspect of it because it's part of the hobby that you can do when you have no one else around.
Yep.
It's a nice way to relax
Hey, the
and
lion.
be creative.
A game of Warhammer is relatively simple in concept. Each session is a mission, generally picked from one of the officially published modules from Games Workshop. Players take turns conducting actions over a series of battle rounds, the outcomes of which are determined by a tape measure and a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
Yahtzee!
There's 5 rounds, and each player has a turn in those rounds. There's a command phase, which is kind of where you would make decisions or have abilities. Then we start moving models. I had this floating drone. During the movement phase, I'm allowed to move him, you know, however many inches he can move. Then we
Those
move
things
on
are
to the
tough.
shooting. And then there's what's called a charge phase, and then we actually do the fighting in the fight phase.
Another big part of the appeal of the game is the deep lore that's been developed over 40 plus years.
Deep fucking
Originally,
lore.
Warhammer 40K
It's deep.
and Warhammer Fantasy Battle
It's fucking deep. The lore's so deep.
were satirical, progressive, and punk.
In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Hell
the
yeah.
Imperium of Man has sort of fallen into decay
Custodes.
and corruption.
The game
How?
was born partially from a hatred of the Thatcher government, with the creators not afraid to take jabs at the future owner of Britain's favorite public restroom. Goblins in the game carried banners with Thatcher's face on them titled Maggie's Death Banner, and an evil empress was named Magritta. The game's
Damn.
Space Marines were overtly fascist,
Hell
only
yeah.
existing to wage war. But as the game's popularity grew, so did its caution. It slowly lost its overly satirical edge in favor
true.
of a more palatable game, albeit one with a vastly expanded lore.
It's funny. I think that this really all comes from the authors, though. You know, like, because it starts incredibly satirical, and there's even stuff from some of the very early creators. Like, I was actually working on a video about this because I'm one of the guys that, like, I like unironically enjoy Warhammer. A lot of people enjoy it as satire. I like unironically like it, and I like some of the crazy shit that the Imperium has and all that sort of stuff, right? And the truth is, like, there's this weird thing in the fandom where some people think it's like you can't do that. You can only enjoy Warhammer ironically or as satire. And there's like this divide within the fandom over this very topic. But to me, it's just so obvious that out of necessity, when you're telling stories, your characters have to become more than just this like sort of satirical parody version of a fascistic whatever, right? Like, in order to have depth, the thing has to be more dynamic and complicated. And out of necessity to tell more interesting stories, the lore, characters, and even the morality of the setting become more interesting and palatable. And therefore, Warhammer becomes more interesting and palatable. But that's kind of like that's like a whole side thing. But it is like absolutely the truth, like undeniably true, that it was originally created as satire.
1991, control of the company moved to Tom Kirby, who had joined the company as general manager in 1986. He opted to pivot entirely to Warhammer and aimed to broaden the game's customer base. In 1994, Kirby took the company public, and barring a few dips here and there, kept the company steadily growing for the next 20 years. But in 2013, everything changed. In the last 2 years of his tenure as CEO, Kirby launched the Great Master Plan, an initiative to cut costs and increase efficiency. Store staff was cut down, product lines that weren't selling well were axed, and an online store was launched. The plan worked, and Games Workshop's stock has continued to skyrocket the last 12 years, growing from around $10 a share in 2012 to over $200 a share today. In addition, they're now operating over 500 stores worldwide, which all sell Warhammer figurines, host games and events, and serve as local hubs for the Warhammer community. And they've done it all while running almost zero traditional ad campaigns, relying instead on a physical retail presence and word of mouth to spread. To put their explosive growth into context, let's compare Warhammer to its closest tabletop analog, Dungeons & Dragons.
Interesting,
D&D, while formerly part of an independent company, is now owned by Wizards of the Coast, a subsidiary of Hasbro. Hasbro also notably owns Magic the Gathering, Transformers, and most importantly, Peppa Pig. In 2022, Hasbro had an operating revenue of $5.86 billion, but only about $1 billion of that came from tabletop gaming.
Interesting.
And Forbes estimates that Dungeons & Dragons accounts for roughly $150 million of that.
Wow.
Compare that to Games Workshop the same year, with an operating revenue of roughly $500 million, almost all of which comes from the Warhammer franchise.
Interesting.
So while Hasbro has much higher revenue overall, D&D is nowhere near the cash cow Warhammer is.
Dude,
which has led Games Workshop's
that fucking solves the whole fucking problem about the fucking D&D thing. That's what I didn't fucking realize about this shit. That's how I got D&D wrong, and that's why it doesn't apply to Warhammer. Brilliant!
To grow 100 times as much as Hasbro's over the past 15 years.
Jesus.
All this tells a clear story. Wizards of the Coast isn't really growing, and Games Workshop is catching up fast.
That's
and all about
crazy.
With a far smaller player base. It's estimated that D&D has over 50 million annual players, while estimates say Warhammer sees just north of 1 million. So how do they do it? Because there's
crazy,
more to Warhammer's
dude.
meteoric rise than a few
There's going to be a lot more Warhammer players in the next 5 years, I'm telling
to
you.
adopt a strategy of slow customer growth, focusing on gameplay, community, creativity, and storytelling. Everything that makes Warhammer Warhammer is monetizable.
I mean, they want you to buy not only the model, but they want you to buy their paints, they want you to buy their brushes, they want you to buy their glue, etc.
The Warhammer retail locations, like the one I went to earlier, serve as hubs for a Warhammer community, hosting regular game nights and painting events, and having a physical meeting space that helps create and maintain loyalty. The stores also sell everything you need to get started and keep playing. Minis, game maps, paints, brushes, story modules, etc. It's a completely different experience than other tabletop war games like Star Wars Legion, Infinity, and Bolt Action, all of which might find disparate events at independent game stores, but none of which have a hub around which the whole game is centered. I did a painting class, and I had fun, but I was told I wasn't allowed to film anything, and we'll get back to that. I was, however, able to go to Carcosa Club, a tabletop gaming co-op in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, where I was met with a passionate and friendly community. The love for the game is clear, and you can see why players have...
This is a big part of what actually is attractive to a lot of nerds about Warhammer is like the people that like Warhammer fucking love Warhammer, and they're very happy to bring new people in. It's a very welcoming community, and sure, you still got like your buttholes and, you know, the grumpy people that have, you know, gatekeeping opinions and all that sort of stuff. It has all the things that all the nerdy communities have, but like, dude, there is just something different about this one because I think, frankly, it just hasn't popped off. Like the irony is all of the sort of, you know, that energy that is out there with a lot of people, like, you know, a lot of you guys or people on Twitter that like just know I love Warhammer and just want to trigger me or whatever. It's this attitude of like, yeah, but nobody plays. Ironically, that actually creates the sort of loyalty and the generosity of the very community. It's actually like, and I've sort of joked about this before, but like Warhammer is a hobby that kind of gatekeeps itself. Like there's no easy way to get into Warhammer. There's no like, oh, I'm going to be an e-girl and twirl a lightsaber around and now I'm in the Star Wars fandom. There's nothing like that in Warhammer. It's like super easy to suss out whether or not you've actually made the investment, whether it's time, money, energy, paints, you know, whatever, to really be into it. It's like very obvious. And yet there doesn't seem to be this gatekeeping attitude of like, oh, well, you don't actually know, you're a tourist or like this sort of stuff. Like, sure, to a degree, but generally speaking, people are so happy to see Warhammer growing that they're going to take you in. And part of what it is in the sort of initiation into the hobby is understanding that like this shit is deep. People care. And you're not going to be looked at as somebody that's been really invested until you actually are invested. That's not the same thing as gatekeeping and like telling people to get out. But yeah, it certainly has like a really interesting vibe, you know, as compared to a lot of other hobbies.
Found a sense of community here and at the Warhammer store. This is their sanctuary. And Games Workshop knows that, which is why it works so hard to cultivate that kind of experience for fans, constantly iterating on game mechanics and releasing new content. There are limited edition miniature drops, rule updates, lore additions, all of which serve to evolve the game and keep players investing in the hobby and adding miniatures to their ever-growing gray piles of shame that I'm told every seasoned player has. I keep knocking over this Christmas tree. Also integral to the company's success is the multimedia empire they've created through licensing deals.
Yup.
These days, you don't have to even play the tabletop game to be a fan of Warhammer. 89 video games, 400 books, an animated series, and an upcoming live-action series produced by Henry Cavill are just some of the multimedia projects surrounding Warhammer. These projects last year accounted for about 6% of the company's revenue, or $42 million. And
That's
Games
about to
Workshop
go up.
maintains full creative control of the IP.
Yeah, they're
so it can
very
ensure
strict
the
with that.
lore stays consistent across projects. It's a far cry from something like Star Wars, which has media in basically every format, but much of it is non-canon or legends, some of it's semi-canon, and some of it's retconned. And I don't work at Lucasfilm, but I'm pretty sure Kathleen Kennedy doesn't keep apprised of what's going on in the world of the X-Wing tabletop game, and isn't going to make sure it's going to tie directly in with the new Starfighter movie, starring Ryan Gosling, coming May 2027. But the unsung heroes of the Warhammer multimedia empire
what
are
is this
actually the
world
fan
that we're in?
creations. Let me tell you a
Because
little
like we just talked
I've
about
known
that shit.
Warhammer
It's so
since I
wild.
wandered
What a
into
wild
Games
world.
Workshop in Cardiff in 2013. But the first time I ever became interested in the lore
I'm just
was
glad you guys are here in this simulation
when a
with
fan
me.
animation called Astartes hit YouTube. It was
Oh,
a short
hell yeah.
CG animation, the creation of one man, Syama Pedersen. It told the story of a group of space marines boarding an alien vessel in search of something. The story was widely praised and is, according to many, single-handedly responsible for creating tens of thousands of Warhammer fans.
I agree. Yeah,
Over
I
the
agree.
next 2 years, Syama released 4 additional episodes of the series to universal acclaim. You really should go watch
Yeah,
it.
Charlie, I'll address
what's
that in a second
You
here, brother.
can't? The only version of Astartes easily available is a low-quality re-upload. The official thing now sits behind a paywall on the official Warhammer
There's
site,
high-quality
where a sequel
versions
to
out
the
there now,
series
but
is
yeah.
promised in 2026.
I get the point he's
Over the
making.
years, Games Workshop has tightened its grip on fan creations, issuing takedown requests and copyright claims. The company took it a step further last year, releasing a set of regulations that completely bans unauthorized fan creations, all in the name of protecting the IP. In 2021, it launched Warhammer Plus, a subscription service hosting animations, fan art, painting tutorials, and more. To me, and many Warhammer fans, this reads as an attempt to control fan fiction, which sort of flies in the face of the point of fan fiction. In making this video, I called my local Warhammer store to request an interview and was met with a resounding no.
Yeah,
I
they
was,
don't play-
however,
they don't play
given
that shit.
an email address, press@gwplc.com, to which I sent this email, explaining I was producing a video about the game and would love some input from them. This is the response I got.
Hello. We do not do interviews, nor do we talk to the press.
Why do they even have a press email then?
Right?
Games Workshop
That's
seems
silly.
so cagey toward anyone wanting to engage with the community in a way that it doesn't specifically sanction, that it might actually be alienating both long-term fans and potential new fans alike.
Yeah,
These
that's fair.
fans aren't making money from their creations.
That's
They're
not true.
Making them hoping to get anything. They make them purely for their love of the
I don't know
world that
about
Games
that.
Workshop has created. And rather than embrace them, or better yet, promote them, Games Workshop chooses to shut them down, lock the ones the company likes behind a paywall, and hold a threat of lawsuit over anyone who might dare to create something related to their IP. Please don't sue us. To bring it back to a galaxy far, far away, it's why there are a billion Star Wars fan films, fan fictions, fan artworks, and Disney, a famously litigious company, lets it happen, and sometimes even promotes these projects.
Yep, that's
because
fair.
it all serves as promotion for their brand. People
Yes.
just want to put their own mark on something they love, and as long as nobody else is trying to sell stock.
But so look, and I think there's a lot of truth in this. And by the way, he's absolutely right. A lot of Warhammer fans. So I'm friends with Chapter Master Valrak, and like, dude, he's just like really negative towards GW. And I think there's a lot of people that are very negative towards GW. Games Workshop, the company we're talking about here. But I would argue that, like, although there is truth in what he is saying, and I actually do think that Warhammer should lighten up on this, I would also argue that if you look strictly at how Star Wars has handled its IP, not just via the lens of allowing fan fiction to happen, but just in general viewing their IP, there is something lost. Disney fucked up. So, like, I can't sit here and act like this one singular aspect of Disney that, albeit is actually pretty good. I mean, they don't really go after content creators. I don't really get dinged when I use their footage and videos and things like that, and I do appreciate that, especially as compared to other companies. Like, I can't sit here and say this one singular thing that they do right means they handle IP well. Like, I cannot fucking say that. And Games Workshop does handle their IP well. Like, my perspective coming in as an outsider into this Warhammer fandom was via the lens of Star Wars and via the lens of Marvel, and understanding and seeing very intimately how that all works. And I'm just telling you, like, I do think Games Workshop does a better job protecting their IP. There is a negative side of that. And that negative side, I believe, is this sort of like ratcheting it down, this sort of threat to wanting to use the IP in your own expression. Like, I think that is unfortunately like a necessary evil for protecting the IP in the way that they do.
Star Wars toys, that's okay. As Henry Jenkins said in his 1992 book, Textual Poachers, fanfiction is a way of the culture repairing the damage done in a system where contemporary myths are owned by corporations instead of owned by the folk. In other words,
that's fair.
People make fanfiction because they want to tell their stories and they want to see themselves in the media that they love. And Games Workshop hates it. The thing is, I really liked playing Warhammer. And I honestly would continue playing it, and might. And graciously, despite my being a complete novice, the players at Carcosa Club took me in and helped me start playing.
Hell yeah.
This is how Warhammer grows. Not through flashy marketing campaigns.
Carcosa, isn't that the King in Yellow? What's going on here?
People feel a part of the community, bringing them together to play and creating lasting memories that will bring them back for years to come. Whether they're a painter, a lore nerd, or just curious, all are welcome to the war. I commend Games Workshop for the community it's built and the story it's created. I admire its ability to do it all while retaining control of its IP and focusing on the quality and connection over explosive growth. The company's story shows that the all-too-common mantra, grow fast and break things, isn't the only way to build a successful, sustainable company.
I agree.
Sometimes the slow burn works just as
You know,
well.
the other thing that, like, nobody brings up about Games Workshop is that in a world where everything's outsourced and everything is cheap, they do everything in the UK. So every part of this, I mean, it's part of why the models are so expensive, right? And it's like, I just hate how, like, nobody brings that up, because I get it, man. And it's like, it's very popular and easy to be like, corporation bad, corporation no care about human being. You know what I mean? Like, I totally get it. But I think it's also fair to just bring up these comparisons and understand that, like, well, what is better? Like, do you really want the cheaper prices for you, and then all of these jobs go away, everything gets outsourced, and it's just like every other corporation? Like, I don't know. Like, that's not really better, in my opinion. You know, and I think Games Workshop has done some things that are very admirable as a corporation. But of course, this is a thing. It's the reason he made this video. It's absolutely a thing. A lot of Warhammer fans feel that way about it. But it's just like, it's very hard for me coming from somebody that covers Disney stuff, where, like, Disney's literally taking Spider-Man off of gravestones of children and stuff. And look, is that an outlier example? Yes. But, like, that is dead ass, you know, or whether it's them trying to use an NDA for Disney Plus to make it so you can't sue them for somebody getting a food allergy on a, you know what I'm saying? Like, Disney has done some of the most twisted, fucked up, crazy things I've ever heard of. And it's not even Disney. It's like people that work at Disney and maybe some other person. I was like, oh, this is fucking crazy. And then they go to clean it up. But it's just like, I cannot sit here with a straight face after actually covering Disney IP for like a decade and sit here and tell you, like, oh, Games Workshop real bad comparatively. No, like the opposite, actually. They're quite good in a lot of ways. Anyways, that's the video there. Didn't you buy 3D printed Warhammer models, though? Yeah, I have 3D printed models. I have standard GW models. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything anti-GW about that, you know? My 3D printed models are fucking dope too. You know? And look, if Games Workshop says I can't use those models in official Games Workshop sanctioned tournament, totally fine. That's not really the majority of how I enjoy the hobby anyway. And I enjoyed painting those. I enjoyed building those. And I'm going to enjoy playing with those this weekend when I play my buddy. You know? It's not a gotcha to have an opinion that's nuanced and then take action that is also within context. You know what I mean? Only way I'd buy bootleg models is if I never planned on selling or trading them at some point. Well, look, there's people that played Warhammer with no models. Little pieces of paper that they cut out into the size of the base. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of stories of people that were playing Warhammer on the kitchen table, and this salt shaker is a centurion, or, you know, this tea kettle is a tank. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. There's all sorts of ways to enjoy the hobby. Are they strict about using 3D printed pieces and sanctioned games? Yes, yes. If it's an official Games Workshop tournament, you cannot use anything other than Games Workshop models. Yeah. And even that, though, is like, it's up for debate. Some people and some judges are probably more strict on that than others. But, yeah. All right, got the first graders on the way. Y'all have a good day till next time. Hey, appreciate you, brother. Thanks for being here. And it must have at least 3 colors, etc. Yeah, it has to be like... Well, it doesn't have to be. You just won't get your 10 points if you're not battle ready. So if you're battle ready, because they want the models to look good on the table. So you have to have at least 3 colors and some shading and have a painted base, have some kind of base. And if you do all of that, you automatically get 10 points. If your army does not have that, you're 10 points down. But, like, you can still technically play and you can still technically win. You're just at a deficit of points. What's more popular, Warhammer or Magic the Gathering? I remember in high school in the late 90s, 2000, Magic was everything. Magic's very popular. I would say by volume, Magic is probably more popular. What's going on with Warhammer is a sort of trajectory thing. Why a lot of people think Warhammer is about to blow up, or why it's going to get bigger than ever, like why is Cavill making the show now, why is Amazon interested in making the show now, is because of the trajectory of the hobby. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not that it already is the most popular thing. It is that it has become more and more popular. And it seems like because it's done that without a live action thing, you would imagine with a live action show, with a big movie star, it's just generally going to get more popular. Whether or not that popularity sustains, or whether it snowballs, or whether it actually just goes away very quickly, that's all up for debate. But it is very clearly the case that it will become more popular when it is in live action. Should I buy GW stock? I don't. Hashtag not financial advice, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I would say that I like the stock. I still have my Chaos Army from the 90s. Might bust them out and repaint them. Hell yeah, brother. I'm going to do some painting today. I got to build and paint 5 Stern Guard veterans for my game on Saturday, and I'm fucking excited, man. I can't wait. It's going to be cool. And we will stream tomorrow. Don't worry. Don't worry. We will stream tomorrow. Anyway, I am going to get out of here pretty soon, though, because I'm hungry. I'm hungry, chat. So I'm going to get out of here pretty soon. But I appreciate y'all for being here, man. I appreciate y'all for being here. Any other last minute comments, questions, thoughts, concerns? What else is going on in the world, man? We got a little breaking Star Wars news video here. We had a crazy, fun Marvel, oh my God, Illuminati's coming video. Oh my God, we watched a video that made us feel good about having hobbies and feeling good about life. We watched a video about being bored that made us all fucking bored. And then we watched a Warhammer video. Let's go. Let's go. Jeff Snyder had good things to say about Supergirl. That's good. That's encouraging. I would love for Supergirl to be fire. And DC needs it to be fire too, so. Did you see the He-Man beat 'em up game trailer? No, I did not. I did not. It seems kind of cool. I did not. I did not hit her. I did not. I need that clip about Illuminati ASAP. I dozed off. LOL. How dare you? How could you do this to me? We had a deal. We had a deal. Oh, Amy Adams is playing his mother, the kid in Star Wars. That's interesting. Cool. Amy Adams. You should do a video with Screen Crush? I don't know why I would. I mean, I like Ryan Airy. I like what he's doing over there, but like I'm on my own kind of wave here, man, you know? I'm on my own wave. That video prior to Warhammer was a palate cleanser / dopamine reset. Yeah, maybe. That's a good way to think of it. That's a good way to think of it. Am I watching Peacemaker tonight? That's a knee slapper there, man. That's a good one. Oh, you guys are funny sometimes. I think that Kang set up Victor Timely to become the closest version of himself that would be smart enough to take out the other Kangs, and Doom would beat him off. Wait, what? No, Josh, you're only allowed to be on chats, Wave. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, yeah, let me get into that question, Charlie. I'm sorry. Let me catch up on some chats here. Okay, so Charlie says, hey, Josh, is Warhammer always one-on-one, or is there group play like D&D? If no group play, could that be what's holding it back from popping off? So that's such a great question. There's two answers to this. Number one, there actually are RPG systems within Warhammer. There's a couple out right now, and there's actually a new one that's supposed to drop next year, which is set in the Horus Heresy, and I'm so excited for it. Like, dude, I'm going to get all the books. I'm going to probably be a DM for a campaign. I would like to play in a campaign if I could find a DM, and I definitely want to get some of my D&D friends in that campaign. So I'm really excited for that. Number two, there's a mode called Crusade. And the Crusade mode of the game, although needing a little bit of an update and probably more fancy things, Crusade is really cool. Crusade is like a narrative form of the game that happens over a series of weeks, and you play different battles. Those battles affect the outcome of what will happen next in the campaign. And they're kind of like a long form D&D type of narrative thing. And what's cool about Crusades is like you can unlock special like relic weapons or certain abilities for your models that you don't get in the regular game. So you can like just do some cool shit and like actually like get some powers that'll be very useful in the next battle. So yeah, there is a way. There are multiple ways that happens within Warhammer. Chillin says, "What's up, everybody? Can only pop in real quick on my lunch. I'll catch the replay as usual. I'm wondering if you've seen the Starfighting casting. Yes, we went over it. Lucas from stacking up the names. Take my money. Nerve Vengers for life. Unity. Appreciate you, brother." So in the beginning of Brand New Day, Spidey will be taking out villains montage style. Then there's a prison break, and it becomes a Sinister Six movie. He teams up with the Punisher and Hulk to fight them. Something like that could be what it is. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. But at the same time, maybe that's like the A plot, right? Because I think you might be looking at like an A plot, a B plot type of situation. But yeah, that's not bad. That's not a bad way to work it out. Great Crusade. That sounds really cool. Well, they're different Crusades. It's not the Great Crusade. It's like it's a different Crusade each time. But yeah, they're really cool. I have not played in one. I was very close to playing in one, and I'd love to play in one. But yeah. Is the Den of Nerds Twitter suspended? The one you have in your links here, and YouTube says that it is. Yeah, that account got suspended, yeah. That account got suspended, yes. Yes. All right, everybody, man. Oh, man. Appreciate you guys. I like the digital Warhammer tabletop you played. What's the chance you'll stream a live tabletop game with an actual army? Well, it's just a very crazy thing to do. I would love to do it, but you need like a bunch of cameras and a setup, and I'm going to take some videos and some photos this weekend when I play live. But yeah, I don't know. Not anytime soon, man. Not anytime soon. I will potentially work on that in the future, though, because I think that would be cool. Shit. The only problem is I wouldn't do these streams anymore. All I would do is just stream Warhammer, playing on the tabletop. You know? Hell yeah. All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Much love. Warhammer Explained uploads. Very close, man. We're very, very close. By the end of September, that channel is going to be uploading. I'll throw it out there. By the end of September, that channel is up and running. I don't know how frequent of uploads, but they're going to be fucking good. I'll tell you that. Faux show. All right, guys, I'm starving. I got to get out of here. Much love. Appreciate y'all. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Leave. Oh, man. Another happy landing. Another incredible episode. How do we keep doing it every time? Every time. Holy. Hey, how many of you got converted to Warhammer today? Throw a 1 into the chat. I know we get more every time. No, we will stream tomorrow. We're going to stream tomorrow. I know we get more every time we talk about it. I mean, Adam, I know that doesn't count, but I'll accept it. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, we're done for now, Joshua. Sorry, buddy. Be back at it tomorrow, man. I know. Look at all these people that are into it. Don't worry, we'll get you too. Don't worry. I know you're starting to get a little Warhammer curious. It's all right. It's going to be all right. All right, everybody. Much love, man. Get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do me a favor. Actually, do Me too. Number 1, open up your third eye. And number 2, wash out your stinky butt hole.